Oh, look who it is. Hey, Don. Funny seeing you here. My newest fan, Don. How's the audio levels on this, Don? We good? All good. You know, I heard that for far too long I've been taking audio for granted, and tonight I will truly have to discover the meaning of what it means to be mic'd. Hey, JJ Winward. Hey, guys. Hey, Darren. The audio is great. Good to know. How's everyone's day? Apocalyptic? Mine too. Can I ask real quick, where are you guys watching this on? Twitch, YouTube? What's up? Because I'm having a fucker of a time trying to figure out how to broadcast to both, how to get to know. Hello, Darren. Hey, Janine. Janine, I do take audio for granted. Maybe tonight we'll start off with a Saw rant. Should we do that? Because I know that some people were on the Discord last night, listening to me and Don go at it about. Do I seem much happier? Much happier than what? Listen to me go on about Saw, and I realized that was some content I was giving over for free on someone else's channel, so I should probably save that kind of rant for where I can make some monies. By make monies, I mean just do it for fun. Who cares about money? LOL. But please support the stream. Come and donate, like, and hang out. Real quick, speaking of, I'm gonna make sure that this is all to the goodsies. YouTube on Xbox phone for chat. I don't know what any of that means. I'm watching YouTube. We'll check to make sure Twitch is good. Yeah, please do. I'm now like a Twitch associate or whatever, which means that technically, oh god, I'm just like I have too many ideas about doing stuff. Hello there. I see some of you are on Twitch, but what I can't do is like see if there's donations or bits. Hey, pizza ready. Basically, I've figured out one thing to do. I'm just going to stick with that for a while, and that's that use StreamYards, go to Twitch, go to YouTube, and then also keep up my Streamlabs, which is VideoDrew.club, open as well, and that way I can see what's going on. Other than that, we're not going to mess around. We're not messing around with OBS right now. We're not messing around with anything because it is true that for far too long I've been taking this shit for granted. Twitch is good too. Cool. I mean, since I'm not doing this on OBS, it means that like any thing that you donate isn't going to appear on screen. It's not going to like do the read. So like, why would you even? Except that like you really love me and I'll be keeping an eye out for questions that are coming in through that. For instance, if you donate, I'll be able to see. What's today's date? Oh, the 12th? Cool. Yeah, so I'll be able to see what's going on. In a little bit, me and Eric are going to do a very special... Wait, is it ready? Like, can we do the quiz tonight? We might be doing a very special quiz tonight. Maybe not. He's getting dinner. So, howdy, 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 Exiled Garlic, Brandon, sup, guys. What did you do today? We went to Costco and watched The End of the Fucking World. You got about $300 just at Costco worth of bullshit. They were out of toilet paper. You're only allowed to take like 2 things of water, and all the water was gone anyway, which is fine because I hate water. Water's gross. Then we went to 7-Eleven and got water. And Eric bought some Pepsi, which is very unlike him. And then we went to Ralph's. I think we ended up at Ralph's was our final place. Forgot Call of Duty. Good job, guys. Like seeing names here I know. Hey, Heather. Heather's my new bud. Me and Heather are like this. Sup? Oh yeah, I do want to say, guys, not to keep plugging away, but we're gonna be ending that poll tomorrow over on my Patreon, determining what series is going to be binged, and that I think is going to have to be a straight to Twitch exclusive. If we want to do it as a live watch, like a watch along. If anyone out here has any idea how to do anything technologically savvy in terms of YouTube, Twitch, whatever, please hit me up, because I've been rummaging around in the dark for far too long, as John Kramer might say. I can't even read your guys' comments. They're so small. Hey, who doesn't know Heather's name? Or whose name does Heather not know? God, your text is so small on this. What else? Oh, I started Lock and Key, which is really perfect to start right after you finish watching The Outsider, which was, can we just say it? Can I just do a hot take? The Outsider was a piece of crap. Like, Ben Mendelsohn, what was he doing there? He looked as confused as I was watching that series. He spent the entire series being like, El Cuco, what? Where's Bane? What am I doing here? And so I was like, well, let's keep it in the Stephen King family section. I guess I could have started with Nosferatu, but as I'm sure everyone who is being quarantined at home knows, one of those two series is currently on Netflix, and it's Joe Hill. Joe Hill's Lock and Key. He also did Nosferatu, but I figured out of all the shows I could be watching, I guess I could have gone to Mr. Mercedes, which is in the same universe as The Outsider. Ask me about Stephen King, y'all. I know a lot. But I chose to do Lock and Key, which was sort of like, if anyone's read the Lock and Key comments, yeah, I'm not going to spoil anything, because, like, first of all, I only read 2 of the comics. They were really good. I interviewed Joe Hill once. He told me he was Hufflepuff, like Team Hufflepuff, which I thought was weird. If anyone doesn't know what Stephen King's son looks like, it is crazy. Can we just, like, Google Joe Hill for a second? Hold on. Let's just do this real quick. It's like, if your dad is Stephen King, why would you do any profession that is at all writing related? And then if you are going to do something writer related, why do horror? And if you are going to do horror, why look this much like your dad? Let's just do this real quick. Streamlabs, share screen. Look at this. Look at this motherfucker. Hold on. Look at this guy. What the hell's going on here? That's just like Stephen King. That's just legitimately what Stephen King looks like. How do I just go to this? It's crazy. How much this guy looks like his dad, and then also decided to make horror books for a living. Your new BFF, man. It's good. It's God giving us the second Stephen King. I'm not sure if that's what he would say about it. But I do like that Stephen King and Joe Hill have, like, intertextual worlds. Like, if you read, is it Nosferatu or is it Heart-Shaped Box? Joe Hill is a really great horror writer, by the way. In some ways, I think that some of his work at least surpasses some of his dad's work, which isn't, like, a grand statement to say, considering that some of Stephen King's work is shit. We can admit that, right? Like, we're all okay saying that, like, some of the 800 books that Stephen King has written are not the best. For instance, I hated Dr. Sleep. Movie was great, but I hated it. I hated that book. I hated Cell. I hated, like, everything that he did, like, basically before re-upping and doing, 11/22/63. Like, there's a period of time where he was just, I get what he was trying to do. He was trying to move into, like, the e-sphere and do, like, small batch releases of Kindle-style books. But a lot of them were crappy, and he, like, reused a lot of his ideas. And in that interim, yeah, that's true. Like, no one can write gold all the time. I can only write gold, like, 50% of the time. The other time, I write God, because my L key is sticky. Hey, guys, I have, like, 28 viewers in here. That's more than normal. Thanks for showing up. Is this what happens now when everyone's self-quarantined? That on midnight East Coast time, we're all just hanging out, watching me. Sup, JJ? So yeah, basically, it's the end of the world. This is not the book. This is just reality. Lock and Key is so far. It definitely like reeks of that Castle Rock, like just sort of let's not try too hard, but like anything with Stephen King and his family is like cashable. I know that Stephen King really liked Haunting of Hill House. That's why Dr. Sleep was Mike Flanagan. And Lock and Key kind of seems like a Haunting of Hill House thing. Now, I have read the comics, or at least some of them, so I do know that like inherently it is about a family who like lives in a house where some weird stuff has happened. But I just mean like it's like it wants to be Haunting of Hill House, but then it also wants to be like Riverdale and have like a lot of this stuff about like the teenagers' lives that is like it's kind of pulpy. And what I hope that would happen with streaming is that we could kind of move away from like B plots. We could just kind of get rid of them as a general concept, because who loves B plots besides like people whose life is a B plot, which is my current theory about 90% of Americans. You're all non-playable characters in B plots as far as I'm concerned. And I came in here to back up Don. Okay, so we are going to talk about Saw. Straight up, Saw is a stupid ass franchise. Doesn't mean I like it. Beep, 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 boop. Doesn't mean I hate it. I mean, I've seen every single Saw movie, like, more than once. Although, unlike Don, I don't seem to remember, like, the distinct differences between each individual Saw flavor. I mean, I do. I know 1 and to, like, 3, and I know... What is it? What's Jigsaw? Is Jigsaw number 8? So I remember 7 really well, because I think 4 to 7 all have to do with, like, the subprime mortgage crisis, estate lawyers, and, like, influencers, I want to say. No, they're like real estate people. So it's kind of like The Big Short. Like whoever did those last 3 movies, and I've talked about this before. I think we like tried to look them up once. Like obviously got scammed in some sort of housing bubble crisis of 08 and took it out on everyone in those last 3 Saw movies. Jigsaw like accepted. My biggest let's see. Do you like Invisible Man? Janine, great question. Loved the way it looked. I thought it was like a really like kinetic. I really had a hard time watching it at first, because it just like it kind of was hashtag triggering. Watching some of that opening stuff about her being traumatized and like getting stalked by an ex, and well, I really got some Mrs. Lovett hair. Did I love that movie though? No. I really loved Upgrade. I really loved Upgrade. I thought Upgrade was like Venom on crack. And not just because Logan Marshall Green looks exactly like Tom Hardy. I loved Upgrade because it was a great film, great concept, not even like the most original idea, but executed really well. Whereas I felt like Invisible Man had a couple things lacking. And to like carry this over, they're the same kind of things that are lacking from all of the Saw movies, which is like any sort of like substantive character work, any sort of explanation about why people are acting the way they are, what people's relationships are to each other, like their inner conflict with themselves. I mean, it's just sort of just so based on plot heaviness and sort of clever, you know how like at the end of every Saw movie you have to have that thing where someone's having a flashback of everything that's happened in the movie thus far, but with like a voiceover that is also something you've already heard in the movie, and it's supposed to help you piece together what's been going on, like, which is just really talking down to the audience, because if you haven't figured out what's been going on in like a Saw movie, spoiler alert, it's like a reverse Bear Trap. Like there's no real twist. It's for some reason we need this like Kaiser Sose moment where they just like walk us through, oh, remember when this happened. Like we don't need it. It's unnecessary, and it's and it's like it's belittling to the audience, and it's also confusing somehow. It's both. It like somehow confuses the situation, because you're like, wait, did I miss something? And then why is that one cop, or is that other cop? And who's talking in that voiceover? I can't seem to really remember. But yeah, so like just for an example, like Invisible Man I thought was great. I really needed to know more about their relationship between Elizabeth Moss and Luke from Haunting of Hill House. Like, was he... I needed to know more about his like work and like why he was the way he was. I wanted to know like if he was such an Elon Musk, like was it going to be impossible to like was it super impossible for him just to piece out of his own company? Like didn't he have obligations? At what point does narcissism just become like a weird thing to revolve your life around or death around? It was or like why they were even into each other in the first place, what her relationship was with her sister, who that guy was that she was living with, or like what his relationship was to the family. I know ostensibly what later we thought it was, but or what it was supposed to be, but it really made no sense. There were such like easy fixes to some of these story issues too in Invisible Man, which was like, how about if the sister acts like the cop and they keep talking about how she's like a cop and her ex-boyfriend is a cop, but like it's never really discussed that that's her ex-boyfriend, or like why Lizzie Moss is staying at his house as opposed to like anyone else's, like someone she actually knew or was friends with, or like how long ago the sister. I mean, just make that sister character like the ex-partner, like the ex-cop partner. Just make her also a cop. Make that guy her partner. It like really clarifies a bunch of things instead of making him like some ex-boyfriend of a sister that you apparently haven't been talking to in a couple of years, but like knows enough about you to pick you up on a random highway and then like not check in with you for a couple weeks. There was a couple things going on here. Let me read some shit. TNJ After Dark. Let's see, Nikki Flex. Glad to catch you live. Hey, this guy owns the Saw. Was watching today's final drop of the exam versus the experiment when I saw your notification pop up. Hey Ryan, have you ever thoughts on sharing the matches? Yeah, I am gonna do a watch along. Is that match officially up? I guess we could watch it. I really did love it. I didn't know Lon Harris's character that well. The same way I don't really know Makuga's character or anyone else who really does character work. I studiously kind of avoided watching their stuff last season because I didn't want to get influenced unduly, if that makes any sense. Like I didn't want to be like, oh, that person's doing something like this and then have my character interfere with it. I mean, that's a highbrow way of explaining the fact that like I was just lazy and really involved with my own shit and drama and didn't really pay that much attention to anything else. But Lon was hilarious in this match, and gotta say, like great showing by Hoik. Okay, if you guys want to watch it, we can do that. Let's do that. TBD. Hold on 1 second. Yikes. Have some pizza. You want to watch the match again? Sweet. Okay. So give it a couple minutes and Eric's going to come in and we're going to watch the match. But then he says he's busy. He says he'll be there. Sorry, kids. Daddy's working. I went up today in the public. I love the character scenes. Yeah. Here's the thing about Mark Hoik, who I like humongously. I like Mark a lot. We've always gotten along ever since we did our first match with the Looney Bin. Afterwards, he came up to me. I hope this isn't telling tales out of school. But he was, especially after the match dropped, he said that, he had watched how me and Tom had interacted and whatever. And he said that he didn't really understand that, like, you could do, I don't know, he had felt like restricted or he had felt nervous, or even though he's like, kind of a famous guy in his own right for doing Beat the Geeks, he didn't really lean into the idea of like doing character work until he saw like me and Tom's thing. And then I think it really showed in this match, if I do say so myself, that he, kind of not only just kept in character. First of all, he did an amazing job. Like I did not expect Mark to do as well in this match as he did. And he, what did he get? Like he was just really, really good. I thought Lon was hilarious. I like the idea of Paul's character breaking good. Weird intro scene, but we'll get to it. Let's see, guys. Sorry I have to like go so close to the camera when I do these, but Is Mark playing a character? Is he really like that? Great question. Eric's laughing the next one. I don't know. I guess it's like, am I playing a character or am I really like that? Mark is definitely a strange dude. I would say he's not as outgoing or like he's not as vehement about things as he is like on the show. Like Mark is not an angry dude. He's not a scary dude. He's just kind of like a geek. Like he's like reminds me of my dad a little bit. He's like a really smart, geeky, like what do you call it? Somebody, I think Michelle Collins once said this about me, so I feel okay saying about someone else. He's like on the pop culture spectrum. If that makes any sense. Last time I was in town, we went to go see a movie at the New Beverly that was so weird. And Whitney Seibold was the projectionist for it. It was called something Birdie. I forget. It was like from the 70s. It was supposed to be like Breathless, but with cars, with car culture in California. It was not at all like Breathless. We talked beforehand about like he didn't know that much about the Wildberries breaking up or like who they were. And so I like filled him in a little bit about that. And then he goes, okay, so I know who I'm playing. And he like showed me. And I was like, oh, I'm going to help you. Like, I'll help you prepare. I'll help you study. I'll help you like really game out the system against like who your opponents are, because that's what I'm good at doing, like gaming out sort of the opponent structure. And I saw who he was playing and I was like, okay, well, good luck. Best of luck to you. And to the credit, I mean, what a good match. Like what a just nail-biting match. Hey Jake, thanks for tipping $5. I wish like the little noise would come up. I wish like the little banner would come up so people would know what's going on here. But thank you for tipping $5, y'all. Let me check over here and see what else is going on. So yeah, if anyone can like help me out figuring out Twitch, YouTube, doing StreamYards to both seems like kind of like it's like a weird half measure. I think I'll be using Twitch mainly to do watch-alongs because you can do watch-alongs on Twitch. I'm sorry, guys. This is like such a tiny little chat. Let me try to pop it out or something. That's what she said. Let's see. Wow, there's a lot of people. Hey, Adelia. Lon's character is amazing. Hook is frightening. Poor Dewberry. Hook is Mr. Phantasm. He could be Mr. Phantasm. He's definitely going for a Cenobite thing. Hey, Jake. There are definitely some characters on the spectrum. No, it's not characters on the spectrum. It's people who are on the pop culture spectrum, which is, I don't mean this to be derogatory in any way, because this, again, is something that a lady from The View once told me about myself. But, yeah, he's like, he's socially awkward, except when it comes to talking about movies and stuff. Me and him once had an 1.5 hour long conversation, like debate, like fight, maybe, about whose memory we were watching in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, when Brad Pitt is remembering standing outside the trailer where Kurt Russell and Leonardo DiCaprio are discussing his wife's death. And then we see that shot of like what happened right before she died. And like we spent an 1.5 hour like just in front of other people right after our match together, like just arguing about whether that was Kurt Russell's projection of what he thought happened or whether it was Brad Pitt's actual memory of the event. Like just this minute, like cross-section of a detail in like a Tarantino movie. But we were just going at it for a really long time until my mom, who had been at the studio that day, was like, okay, well, I think it's time to pay the check and go home because no one else here cares. She's like, this was like an interesting conversation for the first 5 minutes. So yeah, that is to say that I can care very deeply about things, and obviously Mark does too. Let's see. It says view dashboard. I'm trying to see. Like, I don't know how the Twitch thing works. Whoa. Hey, Jay Wenward. Thanks for pledging to the Patreon. That definitely showed up. Welcome to the VideoDrew. Oh, yeah, now you're in the Discord. So if you sign up for my Patreon, which is patreon.com/VideoDrew, you get signed up to our Discord, which is really fun. It's kind of a small community right now. Is this the thing? Yeah, this is this thing that's happening. So it's weird. I definitely need to make some hard choices in terms of how I'm going to be going forward with this. And by hard choices, I mean I need to just make a decision, because this shit is driving me crazy with the Streamlabs and Restream and all the different platforms. It's driving me nuts, and it's not allowing me to really focus on the creative part of this, which is, look, it was a noble effort of mine to try to learn the system. And I'm sure that will happen with time, but right now I need to just make some hard decisions. That being said, let's get a topic going. There, let's see. Yes, Don, let me see. Did your donation come through? Did you send it over Streamlabs or... Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, actually. Got a cat crash, says Jake. Y'all wonderful people later. Nappy says money can be fun too. Why not both? Thank you, Don. Enjoyed our argument over Discord last night. I did too. I gotta say, Don, I really did enjoy that. I'm sorry if I came off as kind of harsh or yelly, but to be fair, I do always type in caps. And also, to be fair, you were completely fucking wrong. Like, it is... Okay, can we just summarize this argument? And since it's my stream, I'm just going to do it for you. Don's argument was that John Kramer was like the Bible, in the sense that John Kramer, being Jigsaw, was like the Bible, in the sense that people did bad things in his name, but we can't discount the goodness of his work. And that anything that happened in a Saw movie that involved an unfair death or people dying unjustly was because it was not John Kramer's fault, but because someone took something out in his name or did something, with his legacy that wasn't supposed to happen. And John Kramer himself is somehow infallible, and everything he did was right. And it was just the mess up of his apostles, like Amanda and that cop who's not the guy from Gilmore Girls, that led to people dying unfairly. And then he also managed to compare people who were the victims of Jigsaw to alcoholics. So that was fun. And my argument was John Kramer has a fucking brain tumor. Not only that, but he's been dead for a really long time now. So the main problem with the Saw franchise is, why does everyone keep thinking Jigsaw did it? Why is anyone confused about whether Jigsaw's alive or not? Like, he's definitely dead. Secondly, like, why are half the cops in this town Jigsaw, and the other half are, like, Jigsaw obsessed? It just makes no sense. I feel like nobody in this town gets anything done. Third of all, there are just not enough... there's not enough discussion about the fact that this guy had such a bad plan. Like, the idea of basically there are two kinds of Saw traps, right? There's the kind where you have to hurt yourself to get out of it, right? Like the one where you have to like give blood, or the hypodermic needle pit or something like that. I guess one of those would fall under the group activity model. And one of them is involving, or actually three. So there's one where you have to hurt yourself, like clamp through barbed wire. There's one where you have to like hurt someone else, or at least have the option of hurting someone else to save yourself, which is a totally different concept. And if we're just taking into the idea that the Jigsaw just wanted people to appreciate life more, the idea of like a Sub-Zero game in which someone has to be murdered seems like a really stupid way to go about that. And by the way, you can't blame that on Amanda or anyone else, because in the very first movie, that was the options given. You could try to poison Lee Winnell with a poison cigarette, or you could die yourself. That was the original movie. I remember watching the original Saw and being like, at the end being like, dude was just lying there the whole time. That's so dumb. They would have definitely seen him moving. And also, like, that original movie really did set out the idea that they cared way too much about like the storyline of the cops. Like, it just made no sense that we focused so heavily on Danny Glover and Miles from Lost. And my biggest problem with the Saw movies is that, like, it's supposed to be about people who don't appreciate life enough. But the very first film sets up the idea that one of the victims of Jigsaw, and it's literally just to serve the plot. This is one of those instances where I hate it because it's just a plot device. It's a MacGuffin, and it makes no sense when you think about the larger context. Ben Linus, also from Lost, I forget, Michael Emerson, plays the janitor. I forget his name. Someone, Don said it yesterday. They both had options to live. Like, just, Don, this is my stream. No. There's no reason why Ben Linus, who is the janitor, who in the very beginning we see him, and he's when Carrie Elways is talking about the patient, which is John Kramer, he doesn't like know his name or something, and he's being a very arrogant dick face. And the janitor, then Michael Emerson, is like, oh, his name's John Kramer, and like he goes about his day. But like the moment there is supposed to be like, A, this guy's weird, and B, like this guy cares about the patients more than the doctor does, right? And then we find out later, like halfway through the movie, we think for a while that Michael Emerson is Jigsaw because he kidnaps the mom and daughter of, or he kidnaps the wife and daughter of Carrie Elways, and he like is holding them at gunpoint and all this stuff, and then reveal he wasn't behind it. It's just Jigsaw had put him up to it, like in that stupid Black Mirror episode that I think was about 4chan. You know, where people had to keep doing acts that they didn't want to do because they were being blackmailed. Except instead of being blackmailed, Michael Emerson had like a poison injected into his body, which means Jigsaw took the one person in that hospital who cared anything about him and showed him any amount of kindness and decided that he needed to appreciate life more, shot him up with poison, instructed him to kidnap and like terrify the family of the doctor who worked at the hospital, thus jeopardizing his own job at the very least. Like, Jigsaw did not want people to appreciate life more. Jigsaw just wanted, or maybe he did, but like his logic was faulty. His logic was always faulty, and that makes sense because dude had a brain tumor. Sorry, not sorry. Everything that was done post Jigsaw's death in Saw 3, you still have to equate with Jigsaw's. They did in Jigsaw's name, so he's equally culpable for all those deaths as well, including the one where I believe in the last one it was just sort of like a circular, like almost like a tilt-a-whirl, but it was just people with guns in their mouths. And at the very least, there's always that thing in Saw where people don't believe it's happening until somebody's made an example of. So it's like the tilt-a-whirl's going click, 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 and then someone's like, what's going? Tell me what chance that guy had. Tell me like what the opportunity was for him to appreciate life more when the game is designed for the other person's, like the person watching outside who has to save one of theirs benefits. Like those people are just victims who are arbitrarily going to live or die. There is no opportunity for them to save themselves or like live longer or appreciate the life they had. And who's not to say that if you're like a subprime mortgage dealer, whatever, that you don't appreciate your life enough? Or if you're like the ex-wife of somebody, because a lot of times like the children and wives of people get wrapped up into these scenarios just as ways to like torture the main person being taught a lesson. But tell me, like, how does that make the child appreciate life more? Like in Saw 2, how does that make that Donnie Wahlberg's kid appreciate life more? That kid's gonna need therapy. That kid did nothing wrong. So that's my thoughts about Saw. Let's catch up, you guys. The one the guys are sharing has to push his face with butcher knives. That's one. I guess the third Saw trap or third Saw scenario that makes sense is there's the hurting yourself, the hurting someone else to save yourself, and then there's the working together as a communal group to like hurt each individual less by sacrificing some larger like group effort. Because there's always like that asshole who's like, no, I'm not gonna do it. And that one makes sense. That fits into the logic of John Kramer's thing, which is that we should all appreciate each other, I guess, or that we should all work together. It really has a lot to do with my favorite movie of all time, Cube, which is very much about working together, but then also human beings being essentially traps for one another. Cube is basically a better version of Saw. It has to do with people trapped in a giant cube, and half the rooms are booby-trapped, and then the people themselves have personalities which are considered traps. So if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. And on that note, I don't know exactly where we're at in terms of the work schedule, but we might start this match soon. How y'all feel about that? Let me double check. Again, guys, if anyone like knows this Streamlabs stuff or can help me out in terms of getting stuff to appear on screen, or at least notifying me so everyone can see when you've donated and stuff. I mean, that's like the huge incentive for donations. I get that. So not having that is a real fucking problem. And I can't read anyone's comments. So let me just like get real close to the computer and do this thing. They were only confused in Jigsaw 8. Untrue. If you were only confused in Jigsaw 8, then you have not been paying attention. Plus, the movie's not called Jigsaw 8. It's just called Jigsaw. Not small deal, but you know what I'm talking about. Cell had so much potential. True. Oh, you're talking about the Stephen King Cell. I was talking about the... Yes, I was also talking about Stephen King Cell, but when I read that, I read The Cell, which is also had so much potential to be better than it was. Cell was like if Hannibal and Legion had a baby and that baby was stupid. So let's see. What else am I missing? Was watching today, final, blah, 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 that we already did that. Let's see. Guess I need to get on that Patreon. Yeah, Heather, you should. We need you over on our Discord. Let's see. Yeah, let's get you on there, Heather. Let's see. Damn it, I'm Patreoned out. Well, Hambone, I'm sorry for you. I am also Patreoned out. Because every time someone gives me $1, I go and spend it on someone else's Patreon. I'm basically addicted to giving money and then also taking money on Patreon and Streamlabs. Don't at me. Let's see. This is unfair. I can't defend your position. I mean, you did defend your position. You did it really loudly for a really long time. And so I feel like this is my playground, and I want to play a little game, and it's called me ranting about why you're wrong. Let's see. Yeah, I read this. Did you just copy and paste this from Ben's Discord? Because I feel like I definitely read this part already. The ultimate story doesn't matter. Is that what you think a fable is? The story does matter in fables. Hey, thanks. You want to play a little game? Yeah. Okay. Guys, see what I did there? Pretty cool. Oh, hey, it's pretty good. Yeah, okay. Here's the thing, though. In Hansel and Gretel, the witch wasn't like, hey, guys, for far too long, you've been taking candy for granted. So tonight, we're going to do something where you're going to have to make up for the sins of your past, which is literally what Saw is. And then she also wasn't like, and hey, I want you to escape because I'm personally invested in you as a person. I want you to escape, and I want you to burn me alive. And by doing so, you will then care about your family and your evil stepmother more. That wasn't... What I don't argue about in Saw is like whether some good could come of it. I'm saying, by definition, this thing is not... The point of the Saw traps is not to teach you a lesson. It just isn't. You don't learn anything from being in a Saw trap. No one's ever walked out of it, with one exception, and we know who that is. No one's ever walked out of a Saw trap being like, you know what? I'm like a changed human being, and from now on, like everything I'm gonna do is like going to be towards the benefit of like good in society, bettering society. In fact, we've seen that literally everyone, with the exception again of one person who it's like arguable about whether he took the right lesson here or what the right lesson was. Everyone who survived the Saw trap, hugely damaged, non-functioning, not really able to live in society, definitely traumatized, or a sociopath. And whether they were a sociopath before John put them in a Saw trap, and thus they've had no difference in like life, in which case, like, good job doing nothing, like just having this sociopath murder a bunch of people. Like, and it's also just like unfairly weighted. Like half the time it's like, here's a group of people, one of whom like is a murderer who gives zero shits, and one of whom is a child, and one of them is like a mole, and like the other three are just expendable, who did something shitty, like accidentally run over a kid and not tell anyone about it. That's a different level than ice cold murderer who's like willing to throw you in a pit of needles. And whether or not like who lives and who dies is like essentially arbitrary, but most of the time the sociopath is probably going to survive until like the final thing where it's going to be self-sacrifice as the lesson. I'm kind of rambling here, but you guys get what I'm saying. The one where the guy in the chair has to push his face. We said that. They both had options to live. Everyone has an option to live. The question is, are you willing to live at the expense of someone else? Are you willing to live like not willing to live, but do you in that moment can like think through the trauma that is currently happening to you enough to live? Like the point is these people don't appreciate life enough, right? So what's to say in that moment that they're going to be able to like process what's going on or even want to live enough to like make it out of that trap? And if they happen to arbitrarily do live it out of the trap because of self-selection of the other characters to kill themselves or to die by one of these traps, who says that they appreciated life the most or that they are going to go on to have a better understanding and appreciation of life? We've never seen that happen. The one guy who was going around on a book tour claiming to have learned a lesson from Jigsaw, turned out to be a phony. Spoiler alert. So literally 0 people. Sorry, I'm kind of hungry. Anyway, enough about Jigsaw. What about Spiral? Yay. Oh, okay, do we want to do that? Thank you. You guys want to hear my theory about why Friday the 13th is also a bunk bullshit series? Is it just me or is it like... Huh? No, I'm going to say that for later. Guys, Eric is here. Don, stop it with those are not his games. There's 2 fallacies here. A, his original games also sucked. You could argue from that very first movie, the game is rigged, it sucks, and is the concept that you have to go kill Lee Winnell in order to survive, because how's that going to teach you more about life? I'm done. Sorry for doing opposite ASMR. I mean, ostensibly the one person who gets it is Dr. Gordon, but only like has to get it because honestly, I think Dr. Gordon's wife and kid definitely like left him. Just like Commissioner Gordon, he is now living like a sad ramen existence, ramen-filled pea jar existence. So whether that guy who used to be a top surgeon with a wife and family have now learned to appreciate life more as a vigilante, one-armed vigilante, debatable. Oh shit. Guys, look who we got. It's Eric. NerdChronic.
Hello.
In the house. It's just me, or is the chat like way smaller than usual? Did I mess up?
It does look smaller.
It's really hard to read. I'm gonna try to figure out how to do this.
Maybe I can just pull up my phone.
Yeah, let's do it on your phone.
Just
and I'm also trying to like check it out
around that.
I'm trying to check it out on like on Twitch, go to YouTube. Oh, thank you. There's my phone. So wait, yeah, let's how would I even check this out? Oh shit. Hold on. I thought someone was making a Saw joke, but it was just somebody saying I've been waiting for this moment my whole life, self-quarantine. Okay. So chats would be on what? YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to.
You're on YouTube. Let me go to Twitch. So let's see if there's anything over there too. Nope. That's cool. Hey y'all. Okay, so let's read a couple more comments. Friday the 13th is supernatural. So different law of physics. Yeah. Funny story. Friday the 13th is not supernatural. Well,
it starts off like maybe being supernatural, and then they never like decide on one or the other, and then
it starts off as a normal movie,
and then 5 movies later they become supernatural.
First movie, there's nothing supernatural about it.
Yeah.
First, I mean, like, well, no, you think it's supernatural, but when it is revealed to be Jason Voorhees' mother, it really negates the idea of any supernatural element. Number 2, explain your theory about number 2 again, because I think I got it, but I want to hear you do it.
You're all right. So, I mean, the whole idea is that Jason drowned in the lake, and then like this final stinger in that is like he jumps out and it's his like weird deformed body, like jumping out of the lake and tackling her.
Like the end of Carrie, where it's
Yeah.
just sort of like a weird jump scare at the end.
Yeah, it's like, did that happen? Was that real? Like, who cares? Like, it's
It doesn't really matter
Yeah.
because it's about a jump scare.
Yeah, but then they make a franchise out of it. And then
And number two,
he's back. He's a grown man. Suddenly,
but did he die? Did he not die?
Yeah, so they don't explain. Like, did he die in the lake? Was he just hiding the whole time? Like, was he fine?
And if so, why is Jason mad in the second one?
Mhm.
No, I'm asking because this was interesting.
Why is he so mad?
Why is Jason Voorhees so mad in the second movie?
Because they killed his mom.
So why is the mom so mad in the first movie?
Because they killed Jason.
Okay, so we're already hitting like this little logical fallacy of a
So
plot.
it's like a Three's Company misunderstanding.
We're having
It's
trouble
just-
finding. Yeah, he said it's like a Three's Company misunderstanding.
Yeah.
So Jason Voorhees as like a guy wearing a mask who's a supernatural. I mean, not supernatural. Michael Myers is not supernatural technically. He's still like alive somehow. He's not given a power of Satan.
Yeah, well, like later in the films, he has the power like that cult, like
I forget which one had the cult.
Yeah, like was it 5? Yeah, 5, 6, and so on, like 5, 6, 7, whatever. Before they rebooted it with H2O.
Was it like a religious cult, or was it just sort of like a "We Love Jason" cult and people were killing in his name?
No, it was like a religious cult, like a supernatural cult.
Oh, cool.
That like imbued him with the stuff, so he
The stuff to make him slower.
Yeah, yeah.
Stuff to make him really
like
slow.
creepier.
Mm.
Yeah, 4, 5, and 6. The Cult of Thrawn. That was it.
I love that people in this chat know. Is that Dawn? Does he know that?
The Cult of Dawn.
He's a force of nature and is only there for pure revenge. But
Wait,
revenge,
which one? Michael or Jason?
Jason.
Oh.
I mean, Michael isn't there for revenge. Michael's just there for. That's what makes Michael
there
Myers
for
so
kicks.
scary. He's there for kicks.
For kicks.
No, for kicks.
Yeah.
Michael's there for the right reasons, to make friends. No, what's scary about Michael is he's indiscriminate. He's just there to murder. He always was. But
He's here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and he's a lot of bubblegum.
he's here to eat frozen pizza and go to Costco and get overwhelmed and have to take anti-anxiety medication. So, going back, Friday the 13th, doesn't start out as a supernatural franchise. Becomes over the course of like several films later anything involving the supernatural, despite the fact that the guy who like ostensibly committing all the murders has been dead since before the first movie took place.
Yeah, and so, but in the second movie, like, so disregarding the fact, like, the question of like whether he was dead or the whole time.
And he's wearing a bag over his head.
He's wearing a bag over his head. He's like just wearing like regular clothes, and he's running around like with a pitchfork, and he's moving like a very natural like human being.
Okay.
That's before they decide to make him to like the kind of like creepy stalker, slow movie type of
Yeah.
killer.
Like-
And so from movies 2, 3, 4, 5 going on, well, he dies in number 4. He actually does die, and then 5 is a copycat, so he's not even in it technically.
Oh, so it's a Saw movie.
Yeah, and then
These movies, the whole conversation is related. Now, if you want to play it backwards and hear all like the important parts where like there's going to be a voiceover and we're going to see the scenes that just preceded this, we could be in a Saw film. But
And
this
then-
relates.
Yeah, and then 6 is when they bring in the supernatural element and they resurrect him, and now he's zombie Jason from then moving on. But even then, like the supernatural stuff isn't like supernatural. It's just weird, like bad logic. It's bad physical logic. Tommy Jarvis stabs him with the shovel as like like a fuck you, his dead corpse in his grave, and then lightning hits the shovel and then resurrects him.
What? So it's more like that's not mad. I mean, that's
Yeah,
not supernatural.
yeah.
That's more like that's like Frankenstein.
Yeah,
That's like pseudoscience.
yeah, science fiction.
That's
Friday the 13th is the great science fiction series.
Yeah, Friday the 13th is the greatest science fiction series of this generation. Don't at us. Don't at us. We'll at you. You almost be like it from a 2-story, but fall should survive. Oh yeah, I mean Michael Myers I'm assuming that's about Michael Myers in the first film. He should have. Yeah, Michael Myers. Look, here's where it gets interesting. I think this is where we start our conversation too. Is one of the best mashups of all time, which is Freddy versus Jason, which is a really, really interesting. First of all, it's like there's a Japanese movie that's Samara versus the chick from The Grudge, and you can watch it, and it's not so great because those two characters are just scary Japanese doll people, right?
Yeah.
Like there's no persona, there's no backstory, there's no reason to get invested in them as anti-heroes, which you essentially have to do if you're going to have a Predator versus Alien. You have to. It's never going to be the characters getting murdered that you care about. It's going to be these totemic, larger than life bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
Freddy Krueger's got one hell of a backstory, and we know it from like the first movie on. It's like that dude was a pedophile, and he was burned alive in a basement, and now he's taking revenge by still being like instead of being a pedophile, he's like
Although to be fair, in the original series, he's not a pedophile;
Yeah.
he's just a child killer.
I think he's a pedophile.
No, they put that into the remake with let's say Haley Joel
No.
with
Jack Earl
Haley. Yeah, in that version he's a pedophile, but
No,
in the original he's not. He's just a child killer, just a child murderer.
Are we sure? Can we Google that? Because
Yeah.
I think like the whole thing is he's definitely preordinately interested in women. I mean, he'll kill dudes, but it's the women that he targets, except in the second Nightmare on Elm Street, which is like this very weird, like a homophobic, homoerotic film where he targets like a young man and like lives inside his body. Let's see these new comments.
Janine says,
yeah,
Weekend at Bernie's had more supernatural magic. LOL.
The fact that body remains as a franchise, that's true, because the fact that corpse remains like intact enough throughout two films.
Hey C-Dub.
Hey C-Dub. So the coolest part about Freddy vs. Jason is that it is straight up Jason is dead. Like that's canon. It's like he's dead. He's part of this supernatural world that Freddy exists in. Secondly, it's Freddy Krueger who died in a fire versus Jason Voorhees who drowned.
Yeah.
So it's like the original Fire Nights.
A Song of Ice and Fire.
Yeah, the original Song of Ice and Fire was Freddy versus Jason. I mean, Freddy is like to me the perfect version of a bad guy in a supernatural or even like a slasher franchise. He's got personality. He's got this, can I say it, big Beetlejuice energy? Like, especially by the third film where he really hits his groove. Like Jason just keeps undoing his own legacy, and like Michael Myers, he doesn't really talk, so we don't really get much of like a personality from that guy. Whereas Freddy Krueger can't shut the fuck up. Like, and he just gets funnier and funnier. Yeah. Like, it's like he's working out his shtick. Like, he's got like Freddy Krueger goes from being like a really scary person, like a really scary monster, to like being in kayfabe. Like, by the time we get to
Freddy Krueger is just VideoDrew of the horror franchise.
And that's what I'm gonna say, man. Let me haunt your nightmares. By the time we get to Welcome to Prime Time, bitch, where he's like coming out of the TV, and God, who's in the scene with him? It's like
in that scene?
Yeah, it's Zsa Gabor, because she's being it's what the woman's watching on TV in Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors, and she sees Zsa Gabor
on TV.
Yeah, on the TV getting interviewed, and then like Freddy Krueger's like, and like, and then his arms come out of the TV set, and he's like, "Welcome to prime time, bitch." Yeah. And that's just very clever. It's the first time of like his use of bitch, like as a slur. But also like in the first movie, he talks a little bit, but he's mostly just a menacing arms and stuff. And by the third time, you feel like he's been doing his like tight 15 at clubs around America, and he's gotten a lot of confidence in his like comedic abilities. And what I like about the way that Nightmare on Elm Street develops as a franchise, even including like New Nightmare and Freddy versus Jason, is like it always tracks everything about that story. Like it's consistent, or if it's not consistent, they find a way to make it consistent. Yeah, like Freddy Krueger in New Nightmare, it's revealed that Wes Craven didn't come up with the idea of Freddy Krueger. He just had a nightmare about him one time. Yeah, and Freddy Krueger isn't Robert Englund, who's a character in the movie. But he's and so is the dad. Like they're both characters in the movie. They're stalking. I mean, they're hanging out with Heather, the actress who played Heather. Yeah. Like it's all very meta. It's all very Wes Craven-y, but it tracks.
That movie, Freddy vs. Jason, has one of my favorite audio commentary tracks because it's just the director, Robert Englund, and the guy who played Jason in that film, just sitting around shooting the shit about the movie and having like a really fun time with it. It's like like riff tracks of like them like watching their own movie.
That's also why Twitch seems to work well. Like why I'm thinking about Twitch, because riff tracks and Mr. Sensitor are on Twitch, which makes me think that seems like a good place. What do you all think is going to happen with Free For All?
Well, C-Dub, I think that's really
okay. We'll go back to that.
That's not what C-Dub said.
I know, but I'm also very interested in talking about that. What's gonna? That almost got big for a second. What's gonna happen at Free For All?
I think, C-Dub, I think that's really in like Christian and like Skybound's hands. I think the fact that we have to we're working with like a large company now, they have to kind of adhere to reasonable safety protocols that's going on with everything right now. So like right now, it's like, I think it's business as usual as far as we know. Who knows when the next week or so, some things might change. Like I certainly hope not, but I think I think everyone would understand if we had to unfortunately cancel it in some aspect. We'll probably have to find another way to work around it. maybe at some point later in the future. But right now, it's kind of like we're still up in the air as we're figuring everything else out, with everything else kind of closing down around us.
Real quick, I'm realizing the people that are on YouTube can't read the Twitch conversations and vice versa. This is the hell that is my life. Like this is somebody talking from YouTube. That's interesting, Darren. I did not know that. That's fascinating, because the kids that are always singing about Freddy Krueger are always young girls, and I feel like by the 4th or 5th film they do elaborate on him mainly killing girls or something, or like molesting girls. Is that really never established?
I don't think it is. I don't think it's established. I know. Yeah, I think it's all like, I think it is very like predatory and like somewhat sexual in nature, but I don't think they ever explicitly say like he was a child molester. Because
he's always going after girls and then pretending to be their dads and then trying to make out with them. So, and you could say that like death fucked him up. Yeah,
they never say. He just tries to make out with them, but they never officially say.
They never officially say that. And
it's up in the air.
He obviously likes to traumatize people with like pseudosexual parental dynamics, which means that like, you know, he's really the jigsaw of fucking you up sexually. Can they stop the live event?
I mean, we could do that. Yeah, we could tape in the studio like we did the previous years. It just sucked. You know, Free For All was like such a fun event last year. So I think if there's a way to keep it live, that'd be great. Maybe do a throwdown type thing. Yeah, where we stream it live. Like that'd be also great. I think that middle ground.
I'm just trying to say, you're on Greyjoy from the books.
This is a high concept horror villain.
Wait, that's hey Louis, that's a very brilliant idea. Can you elaborate? I remember first of all, Euron Greyjoy from the show was a pretty high concept horror villain. Like he was so awful, but like hilarious. If I'm going down the same logic I think you're going down, though, I would say Ramsay Bolton is a way better horror villain. Like, should Ramsay Bolton be resurrected in any fashion, he would be the Freddy Krueger.
So not Jason, but like Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, or either. I mean, no, Ramsay Bolton like hulking around, like just being like duh, 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 that's not interesting. Ramsay Bolton like coming back as a vengeful like, welcome to primetime, bitch. Here are the hounds. Like, release the hounds. Like, that's fascinating.
I like the idea of him saying welcome to primetime and they doesn't know what a TV is.
It's like how they would talk a lot of it, especially Peter Dinklage's character was always making reference to shit that was or like in Star Wars when they mentioned God. And you're like, what?
Yeah, whatever.
Good God, who? Let's
see.
Ramsay Bolton is the worst. Hey, Christopher, may I direct you to if you I can't put it up as a link, but if you Google my name, Drew Grant, or if you go to observer.com in the search bar and then do Drew Grant and then do Ramsay Bolton, I guess you could just do Drew Grant Observer Ramsay Bolton. You will find an article that claims otherwise. And I wrote it right after the infamous rape of Winterfell episode, but I wrote a piece calling "In Defense of Ramsay Bolton, the best character of Game of Thrones." And my God, what is that clickbait? My point being that he was a very good villain. He was a perfect foil villain because he was insane, but he was like, and he was a sadist, but he was smart enough to like keep his head in the game and keep maneuvering upwards. So he wasn't so crazy that he was taking himself out of the equation. He was such a scary villain.
And what's you and the actor's name?
Oh yeah, Ewan Riam.
Yeah. I mean, he's just a great actor.
He's a great. Well, that's the other thing is I've been obsessed with him since Misfits.
Yeah.
When he played such another character that like I think was supposed to be a good guy, but they really have him towing the line.
Yeah, like they clean up later in the series, but
when
the first season, the first season's like I don't know if this guy's supposed to be endearing or we're supposed to like him.
If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go to Hulu. If you like the show The Boys, but want a better version of it, please check out Misfits. It's a show. It's a British show starring Ramsay Bolton and the guy from Umbrella Academy, who's like the drug addict kid. Robert Sheehan, who I believe said some not okay things about 9/11 once, but is otherwise a very cool guy. He was in a movie once with David Tennant. It looked kind of good.
Janine asked a question.
Okay.
Janine says, and Janine always gets priority.
Janine always gets priority.
What's your favorite non-horror movie? Blew my mind when I realized that Terminator is essentially a horror film. Makes me love it more. And yeah, it's funny. My friend Andres, who's on the stream last night, and my coworker, he picked that as like his favorite horror movie of all time, the Terminator, because it's essentially just a slasher film.
Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah. So it's not you would consider that horror film.
I've had this is what started
another rant.
No, this isn't what this is the OG rant. It was me and Matt Solar Sites, who's now at Vulture, but it was when we were both working at Salon and we were trying to define horror versus thriller,
Mhm.
because like, is a slasher film horror? Is the original Nightmare Friday the 13th horror? Is Halloween horror? If it doesn't contain a supernatural element, is it horror? And where is that line? But I think specifically with Thomas Harris stuff, like Hannibal Lecter, it's not a horror movie. It's like a cop procedural, or it's a psychological thriller. I mean, this is the American Psycho debate again, except
I think to me it's just weird because I feel like as we've gone on, we have generally decided like culturally that horror is like the umbrella genre, and then thriller is the subgenre of horror. I feel like that's what people have like for the way the Schmoedown phrases it.
Oh, the way the Schmoedown phrases it, sure.
And then other things too, just the way it's like thrillers are marketed as like kind of horror films and stuff like that.
Well, but like with things like so like Basic Instinct though is just not a horror movie, and there are a lot of thrillers like courtroom thriller. Like what's that one with Ed Norton? That first Ed Norton one, where
The Hulk?
No. Before Fight Club, it was I think it got him an Academy Award nomination. It's him and Richard Gere.
Pretty Woman?
No. Come on, guys. Help me out here. Somebody in the chat just say the movie I'm thinking of before I do it.
Richard
she
Gere,
does chat.
Story.
Is the chat working? Yeah. The chat is working. I just can't really see it. Sorry.
It's just small on the screen.
It's just small on the screen. This is what we're trying to understand.
Primal Fear.
Primal Fear. Thank you. I'm going to say Cape Fear. Probably, yeah, guys. This chat's just a little bit wonky today. I am trying to do it, but like without putting my face so close to the camera, like it's just kind of a little messy right now. Let me see if I can figure out how to do it. Next time, I'm either going to do Twitch or YouTube. I've decided. I need to make a decision here.
Yeah.
We need to.
Decisions need to be made.
Decisions need to be made. Like when we saw an empty box of.
We saw a box of Chips Ahoy in like the rice section at the store.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, it was just like empty shelves, and then just like a Chips Ahoy box, and we were like, decisions were made. Donna, I do want you to think that I am reading the comments. I do try to. It's just these are really hard without me looking down at my phone constantly because I'm messing up a little bit.
That's what I'm doing. Looking at my phone.
And you guys can't read each other's chat, so there's half of you on YouTube, half of you on Twitch. I can't get any alerts right now about donations, but you guys should still donate. What a horrible thing to ask somebody to do, but I'm doing it anyway because that's society.
Sorry. If I had to pick a film that's like not a horror film, but you could consider a horror film.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of mine.
Previous and Misery. Yeah, where do mysteries fall in this? Like Agatha Christie stuff.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, there's certain stuff like if it involves something that's like incredibly bloody and gory and violent, like Fight Club has both supernatural-ish elements, or like Fight Club could fall into the same category as American Psycho, which is its psychological thriller. Mm-hmm. Same with like that movie Spider, which would have Ralph Fiennes in it.
Would you consider Get Out horror? Or strictly thriller? No,
I would consider it horror, but then again, I don't go under the the premise that horror can only be. I know this is gonna contradict what I said in Schmoedown, but I don't think horror necessarily only has to mean supernatural. That's why we have like a subgenre called supernatural horror, which is like ghosts and shit. Mm-hmm. Horror can be psychological torture, can be horror. Saw is horror. Like anything where people are getting stalked or mutilated is horror. I just think thriller can also encompass like this whole area that we're not being talked about, like Cape Fear, like a lot of things where the tension is mostly being manipulated in people's minds, and it's like doing to rack up your tension in the theater, but it's not necessarily like I feel like Soderbergh's in a couple ones like that.
Yeah.
That don't fit under horror. It's a messy area. Look, I'm not here to be like a linguist or be
kind of I don't know if this would be my definitive pick, but like Hateful Eight is kind of a horror film to me.
Go on.
Because if you think about it, like I think about sure, whatever floats your boat.
Sure, whatever, buddy.
Because Hateful Eight, when I thought about that before the film came out, they were saying they were using a track from Ennio Morricone's like score for The Thing in it. So I was like, oh,
Enrico Morricone did the score for The Thing. That sounds like a Schmoedown.
There was like a part, that they used in Hateful Eight that didn't get used in the original film.
Oh, okay.
And one of the tracks in there, and so I was thinking about it, like when I went into it, I thought it was gonna be like so horror related, but it wasn't that much.
Tarantino's only done one almost horror movie.
Yeah,
and that's Grindhouse.
Yeah. And then, but as I was watching it, like I looked at it as if it was a horror film. And you think about it in the sense that it kind of is structured in the
Trap room.
the idea of like, yeah, it's in one location and like this like house of horrors type thing happening where, say, if someone came in the next day, they just found like a complete massacre of people, like bloodied and butchered like the next day, and you would never know what happened. It's just like that one night of like horrific events like happening to these people in this one location.
But the tone of the movie is not thus that of a horror movie.
Yeah.
Like, but that's a very interesting point. The people that are going to show up the next day to clean up, it's going to look the same to them that it's going to look like for House of a Thousand Corpses.
Yeah.
Like they're just going to be like, what the actual fuck? This guy has his balls blown off.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell happened here?
Yeah.
I guess a good way to define horror is whose perspective we're looking at. You know, like, are we doing it through the detectives who are coming in trying to figure it out? Like, is it, you know, Clarice Starling or the victim? You know, like, are we going through Clarice Starling's perspective and she's hunting the person? A lot of it has to do with the tone. I think it's more of it's like what the guy said in Congress about pornography. You know, like you can't really, you'll know it when you see it. Like Get Out is a horror film. Is there like anyone who's denying, or that us and Get Out
that was a big argument I saw online. People saying that Get Out wasn't a horror, it's a thriller.
Oh my god. Well,
and it's like it's such a wishy-washy thing that people just have like really subjective views about.
Well, I think that's why Schmoedown's smart to say horror thriller as a jumbled category. And that's why it didn't work with the American Psycho thing, because you can't just claim that one thing is horror if it doesn't have supernatural elements. It's just like such a fine line. But there are definitely thrillers that are not horror movies. There are also horror movies that are not thriller movies. Like let's see. I'm trying to think. A lot of Stephen King stuff.
I mean, Ryan Kramer says, do you feel The Exorcist and its sequels are horror or just type of psychological thriller that gets lumped into it? What about The Omen?
What about
so those kind of like religious based, I guess.
Well, those are definitely horror.
Yeah,
that's like is Rosemary's Baby a horror film or a thriller? Well, no, she has a son of Satan. I think when you can categorically define it as horror is like if it's about ghosts and scary as opposed to about ghosts and sad, it's horror. And if it has to do with like the devil, it's definitely horror.
what about Hereditary?
Hereditary is like, oh god.
Like,
well, Hereditary
and like somewhat Satan.
Yeah, kind of. Hereditary and Midsommar are actually two that fuck me up in my own arguments, because I went into Hereditary the opposite of. I went into Reddit the same way you went into Hateful Eight, which was like, this is going to be a horror movie, and then it fucked me up so bad because it was, and that wasn't a thriller. It was like a devastating family drama. You know, like it was just grief. Like, and that's a really hard thing. Like, I didn't go sit through, what was it called, Rabbit Hole or whatever that John Cameron Mitchell sequel to Hedwig was. Not sequel, but I don't watch movies about grief or people who lose children because those aren't my type of movies. I understand there needs to be meditations on them, but then Hereditary just straight fucked me up because I went in expecting a horror movie and I hated it because it was just so sad and like. And then when I watched more of it, I was like, oh, no, it's definitely scary as hell, but it meditates. And the same with Midsommar. Midsommar is not a horror film by any stretch of the imagination. I don't even think it fits under the broadest definition of horror or thriller.
Yeah, even though it was very heavily marketed as one.
Yeah, well, A24 is pretty good at that. Yeah. I don't think any of these A24 films technically count as like horror.
Has A24 ever made a horror film?
Hey guys, great question for the stream tonight. Has A24 technically ever made a horror film?
I guess. I do consider The Witch horror in the same aspect, like, you know, Exorcist and The Omen is like deals with Satan and
wait, which one?
The Witch.
Oh, The Witch. Well, it depends. That's more of a psychological horror because you could literally argue the same thing as American Psycho, which is that all takes place in their own mind or like the group.
Yeah.
But like,
I guess if you want to take it at a surface level, it is. But then if you want to, get into it,
it's left ambiguous. What about like movies like Ravenous with David Arquette? Like it's about like the Donner Party.
Yeah, I guess it's more thriller.
Like
it is horrific, but
I mean, like at a certain point, isn't this kind of silly? Like, wouldn't you just try to make a broad claim like? It's only horror if it deals with the afterlife or a supernatural element. Or what's your favorite horror sci-fi? Because then you can get into like Alien, right? Which is both a horror.
Terminator is also kind of.
Is Terminator a horror movie?
Yeah, because like my Andres will explain it better too if he was here. But
waiting for it.
Go for it.
Go for it.
Go proceed it. But
Louis' arguments are so silly tonight.
Yeah. So the first Alien film is, I would say, it's more of a horror film, and then the second one is an action film, and then the first Terminator film I think is a horror film because again it's like this really slow stalker type villain like chasing down the final girl, and like, you know, you can't kill him like easily, you can't like just like shoot him, you can't like do all these like normal things to him, you could just stop a normal person, and so like it does have like really like great horror elements to it.
Is every zombie film a horror film?
Yeah, I'd say so. It's like
Is World War Z a horror film?
I guess technically, but like we're talking about this in the car with your mom.
Yeah,
and
when
we're
my
talking
mom,
about
who my mom calls up today, she goes, "I'm about to watch Contagion. Your dad
Yeah.
recommended it." What?
The thing I like about World War Z, I look at it less as a horror film. I look at it more as a disaster film.
Ooh, yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's a
Yeah.
pandemic film.
Yeah.
It just happened to have. I mean, that was a very poorly done adaptation too.
Yeah,
If you've
yeah.
read Max Brooks, is that his name?
Mel
Is
Brooks.
it-
Mel
yeah,
Brooks.
but-
Yeah,
well,
Max Brooks. Yeah.
it's Max Brooks.
Yeah,
Right?
his son.
Oh, that's so gross. What about? Okay, great question. I think there's a whole screw tapes. You know, the C.S. Carroll book, the screw tape letters, screw tape diaries. Yeah.
Letters, I think. Yeah.
Screw tape letters, which are all from the perspective of like a lesser demon in hell.
Yeah.
Sort of like lodging complaints against the devil. I think the whole Conjuring universe, like the whole demons in the Conjuring, the whole demons in The Exorcist, I don't know if they have the right to speak on behalf of Satan. Like, I don't know if they're like, you know,
yeah, just like
or it's like Dogma.
Just like Pazuzu and like The Exorcist, like going around possessing this girl. Does Satan sign off on that?
Yeah, exactly. Well, because just like there's the Holy Trinity of like God, the Holy Ghost, and Jesus, right? Isn't like the idea of there's Beelzebub, there's Satan, and then there's like a third one, right? And they're like
Azazel.
Azrael.
I'm going off of Supernatural.
Yeah. Azrael. Well, that guy's named after the guy who created the Satan church, right?
Yeah. Well, the yellow eye demon.
What?
The yellow eye demon in Supernatural.
I've never seen Supernatural.
I thought you did. I thought you said you did.
No, I've never seen one episode of Supernatural.
Oh, yeah.
The Exorcist and Home Encounter argue. Who's arguing about this Exorcist and Supernatural being horror films? Me?
I'll answer C-Dub's question. So
where's that?
Sorry, up there.
Okay.
Yeah, so it doesn't bother you if any of your vids get a dislike.
Well, I didn't know about any of my videos getting a dislike, so.
I mean, long story short, no. I mean, I work with other YouTubers, like large YouTubers that get hundreds of dislikes on their really popular videos, and it's all about ratio, man. It's all about.
Wait, I made this smaller somehow. Guys, what did I do?
I don't know if I'm gonna also.
No, just make it better. I made the chat smaller. I don't know how. Oh wait, so that did something. Make it that bigger and then do that to the chat part. That work?
How's that?
Yeah, but if I can now, I can kind of read what they're saying.
Yeah. Well,
there we go.
Geez, oh my god!
No. The screen has too many mirrors.
Two more.
There we go. Right. So now I can see. Christopher, which question about the?
Yeah. So we just read it.
We just read it. Everyone in the chat hit like. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting to do that. Everyone in the chat hit like. Everyone, come hang out on VideoDrew.club. I'm. You know what? I think like tonight I'm gonna do a hard thing and like, or not a hard thing. Like I'm just gonna do a break from normal format and like say, please, you don't donate tonight. Like it's. I'm not gonna be able to highlight your question.
Ask someone donated right now.
Oh God, Don, asshole. Thank you, Don, for tipping. Yeah, don't feel the need to donate or like tonight. Because I can't really see or like highlight and your questions aren't going to come up. And I'm going to try to get through the stuff as best as possible. Of course, like if you do want to donate or subscribe to my Patreon or subscribe to anything, I will welcome it. But I'm saying like, I'm not going to push that hard tonight because I'm having a really hard time reading the comments. Your stuff isn't getting highlighted. And while we will like get to everything, that reminds me I should check the donations and make sure things are coming out. But like, yeah, I'm still figuring stuff out.
Yeah. And thanks, CW. Yeah, if you're here, hopefully we get to see you. Like, I don't know, again, what traveling is going to be like in a week from now, but hopefully you'll be here.
I'm telling you, the never-ending story is hard. There's nothing more horrific than everything becoming nothing. There's nothing more horrific than living forever. So the childlike empress, to me, is a very scary concept.
Yeah, she's just like the ultimate vampire.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but like, can you imagine? Oh, my God. The idea of living forever is more terrifying than the idea of dying. Don't at me. Don't at me, I'll at you. Okay, let me make sure. Hey, Heather's.
Yeah,
hey, Heather, way to be on this.
Yeah. I'm going to go and do your thing, and then final point about C-Dub's question about the likes and dislikes. It's I work with you want to know the video rejects, like Akasan, other people, and it's just like that's just the culture. Like people are just going to dislike for like the really flimsiest things too. Like you never need to take it to heart, and just people will dislike something because like the thumbnail didn't look good enough for them. They didn't understand what it was. Like it's such a flippant thing to really worry about.
David, to answer your question, I have not gotten my Mac working. I'm working off a PC, which should technically make things easier, but for some reason, it's also made things equally hard, if not harder. At this point, I've been donated and gifted so much stuff that I should just have Streamlabs up and running and going to Twitch, and going to YouTube, and like everything's appearing on screen, like, and people who donate. And oh yeah, I just became a Twitch affiliate, which means something. I don't know what though. I'm kind of mad that I was ever introduced to Twitch. I feel like without Twitch being in the equation, I could have just kept live streaming on YouTube via Streamlabs, and nothing would have ever bothered me, or StreamYards, and nothing would have ever bothered me. And I could have just used Streamlabs for donations. It's literally Twitch that might be fucking me up. That might be an epiphany.
Dawn says, "Is Rosemary Damien's aunt or stepmother?"
Oh wow, great question. Rosemary might be Damien's birth mother, but you'd have to explain how he.
Are you
got
talking about like a crossover between?
Rosemary right. Well, it does cross over because Mia Farrow.
Yeah.
In the remake but she's not his aunt. She's the It's All For You, Damien. She's the nurse, or like the babysitter. What do you call it? An au pair. Great question.
Midwife.
No, she's not a midwife because it's somebody who was brought in by the Did you guys watch Good Omens, by the way? Which was a very funny send up in a lot of ways of The Omen. It's that Neil Gaiman show
I did not see that.
With Michael Sheen and David Tennant as a devil and angel.
Yeah.
And they're sort of fighting over the soul of basically a Damien, a guy, or except they had messed up on which baby it was. So it's actually just this other kid, but they're going after the kid of this diplomat, and it's just like the wrong spawn of Satan. And that show actually in the book too, it's not spoiler to say, it brings up a really good point, which is that there's all these sub tiers of demons and angels. And you think somebody's the devil until they're like, oh, we're going to go get your dad, like to the boy whose son it is. And then like the devil actually shows up, and it's way more of a, Cabin in the Woods, the old gods kind of look.
Yeah.
Is Cloverfield a horror movie?
I can see the argument. Again, the same thing as World War Z. I always classified it as a disaster film.
What about 10 Cloverfield Lane?
That's closer to horror, I think, than Cloverfield itself is.
I think it's closer to thriller.
Yeah, but it is thriller, definitely. But if you want to make either of those two, if you want to label them as horror, 10 Cloverfield Lane is definitely closer.
That's funny. I've always thought about pandemic movies as horror movies because they're so terrifying.
Because they scare you.
Because they scare the shit out of me. Well, sorry, The Hot Zone isn't supposed to be a horror movie, like just because like it's based in what reality, like because nothing supernatural happens.
See you, C-Dub. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you. Twitch affiliate means I can get paid, but Twitch affiliate, Troy, also means that like I have less idea of what I'm doing, and I'm even paying more money to more people to get them to like help me out here. So should we start out on one of these matches? I think people said
they want to see the match from today.
Yeah, you guys, why don't you go vote in the comments and say which match we should watch, and then do you have your quiz ready?
I do. I finished a La La Land quiz.
Guys, we have a La La Land quiz. Guys, it's Stigmata horror movie. Stop trolling me. I think I just realized what trolls were, and I realized that a lot of you are. His mother is a dog.
Is Stigmata a heel move?
Stigmata a heel move. That's really funny. Yeah, from now on, the question isn't, is this movie a horror movie? It's his Satan being a heel.
It's Pazuzu a heel.
It's Pazuzu a heel. What's the one from The Conjuring? The Conjuring universe? Conjuring 2?
Valak.
Yeah, Valak. Is Valak a heel? Is Annabelle a heel character, or did she turn face?
Yeah, that's true, right? Yeah, I'm waiting for the face turn for Annabelle.
Yeah,
in Conjuring 4.
No, she's gonna be they have a new one with her.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, guys, I finally watched The Curse of La Llorona. In fairness to that question that happened at the beginning of the season, it's established almost immediately that it's the same priest. I thought what someone told me later was that you don't find out till the end that it's the same priest as from the Annabelle universe.
Like that's supposed to be a reveal?
Yeah. Because La Llorona wasn't marketed as part of the Conjuring universe.
Yeah.
It was definitely not. It was just like from the same people who brought you, but it wasn't supposed to be in Interworld.
Maybe it's just an assumption I had. I saw the trailers and the marketing. I was like, there's like 100% no way like this isn't a Conjuring film.
Well, see, yeah, I didn't make that assumption. It's not like the same as like, the dark universe stuff. It's not like, oh, the Wolfman always shows up with Dracula, and they exist in the same dark universe, right? Like, I just assumed it's by the same people. It's not Upgrade doesn't exist in the same universe as Invisible Man, right? Just because it's by the same.
Yeah, I could have sworn the marketing said from the world of The Conjuring, whatever.
It might have said, if it said the world of The Conjuring, that's one thing. If it said from the creators who brought you The Conjuring, that's like saying that like us exist in the same universe as Get Out. That's a fan theory more than anything. But it did get revealed, and this was the question. It's at the premiere, right? Is what was it? It was one question about La Llorona, but it was like which something in the Conjuring universe, and it was really hard to tell, except that it turned out to be the priest, right?
Yeah. Well, what
was the question? I forget it.
He appears in what?
Right.
Other film?
I would have said The Nun, except I would know that that's a different thing. Yeah. Here's another thing that's hard about the Conjuring universe. Why get Taissa Farmiga to play not Vera Farmiga? Like, I was very convinced in The Nun that we were watching Vera Farmiga.
I thought it was gonna be like her great
grandmother,
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, but like that's the kind of confusing bullshit that I'm talking about that I hate in franchise horror movies, where it's just sort of like, what?
I'll say this though, the Conjuring franchise is my favorite superhero franchise.
Oh, go on. Well, I like this hot take.
Because the Conjuring universe is like they're superheroes. Like Ed and Lorraine Warren are the Avengers. The Church is S.H.I.E.L.D. And even in
which one's Hydra? Does that make Annabelle Hydra?
Did you see The Nun? You saw The Nun, right?
Yeah, of course I did.
Yeah. So The Nun, she becomes an Avenger. He's like, okay, kid, you're an Avenger now, and he gives her the powers of the Avenger.
Oh, that nun, not the evil nun.
Taissa Farmiga. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they give her and then it's revealed that she's.
You say, okay, you're an Avenger now.
Well, this is sort of like when I found out in Birds of Prey that they're a superhero, like they're people with superpowers. I'm just like, wait, what? I like that theory. I like that theory a lot. That really goes over well with me. There's something I wanted to say to that though, and I cannot remember. Oh, it's like when I was a kid, I always was like, what's the difference between Carrie and like Dark Phoenix or like Jean Grey? Like technically just the same person. One of them just went to boarding school.
Yeah, and Matilda.
Right? Exactly. No, but I'm saying to that point of like whether having superhero power or like whether having powers can make this a horror movie or a superhero movie. I guess that's what that X-Men movie that's going to come out one of these days or in the future. Never.
Hey, Andres.
Hey, Andres. Even if it ended, it's going to count. No one questioned it. Yeah, it's also because the MCU is the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and no one questions whether the Hulk, it was a comic book character created in Marvel, belongs in Marvel.
Yeah, it's funny though.
And those have the same characters.
We all know what the MCU is now, but it's funny when those movies first started coming out. Like there was like a large chunk of like the general audience that didn't catch on until like the first Avengers movie. Like came out.
Exist
like they're like, oh, like I know these people are together now. Like I didn't realize these are all connected.
Well, and to be, but that's not logically inconsistent. That's just people not knowing things.
Yeah.
But like if you didn't know, by the way, that like the Mummy exists in the same universe as Dracula, who exists in the same world as the Wolfman, because they were all created by Universal. Anyone who's gone on the Universal ride like knows this. I mean, that's the whole thing. And the Mummy, those characters all exist in the same universe, and they team up, and they're very much like they can team up or they can like fight. Or
I love they do them teaming up.
They did team up. It's Abbott and Costello versus like the Wolfman, Dracula, and whatever. So they do team up a lot, and the Invisible Man.
I hope they just use the same Avengers thing when they team up.
Yes, that movie's just from the opposite perspective. It's still, and I hope you know what I hope we see a lot of like, and this is one of my favorite tropes is like internal squabbling and rivalries within a super bad guy thing. Like watching that within the Avengers when like Captain America and like Tony Stark fight is one thing, but again going back to like the screw tape letters idea, it's like really funny when you watch bad guys like squabble with each other, especially in horror movies. That's why I think Ready or Not was so funny because they kept like, seen it. Oh my god! Yeah, so my god!
We'll watch it soon. Now we'll watch it and then make a quiz out of it.
Oh my god! Ready or Not is such a great movie. That's a movie that deserves its own extended universe. Yeah. Just hot take. Thank you, JJ. Jean Grey is telekinesis and high level telepath. Hey, guess what? So is Carrie. Carrie's also a religious film. Never forget. Don, did you say you have watched the movie Pet? Oh, yeah. Is the Human Centipede exist in the same universe as blah blah blah? But being an Unbreakable World, we knew that was going to happen because Oh, you're saying when Split came out? Yes, we did not know Split took place in the Unbreakable
Yeah.
universe until the very, very end.
And that was designed that way, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But going back, I thought that's how La Llorona was going to be.
Oh, that's supposed to be a reveal.
Yeah, it was supposed to be revealed because the way I think probably even the way they phrased it in the Schmoedown made me think it was a trick question.
Mhm.
But no, like it's just that guy. But like you would have to remember that he was in the Annabelle movie. I guess you'd have to care that much.
You have to care that much about that like one-off like story and that one-off character enough to like appreciate it.
And is my crazy Viola Davis an Annabelle creation, or who is that? What actress is that?
Creation?
Oh, and no, it's not creation. The one. Come on, is it just the first Annabelle movie?
The first Annabelle movie is just Annabelle.
Annabelle,
just
right?
Annabelle.
But who's in that? Isn't there like a famous black actress in that?
Yeah, she's I always forget her name. She was on Luke Cage, and
she was on Luke Cage.
Yeah.
Oh my god, she was Mahershala's brother, or sister.
Yeah.
Isn't she also in the DCU or the MCU or something?
she was in Iron Man. She was in Civil War.
Yep, same actress. Sorry, I forget her name, but I'm not very good with people's names.
Alfre Woodard. Alfre Woodard.
Yes, yeah. Alfre Woodard. Yeah, so Alfre. She was good in Luke Cage.
Yeah, she's great.
But what were we saying about her? Oh yeah, why was I talking about her again? I got distracted.
Yeah, Andres and I actually saw early screening of Split like about a week and a half early before it came out, and so that was super fun watching that with like obviously like M. Night Shyamalan fans, and then like lose their minds over it, and then we can talk about it for a week.
Oh god. Well, yeah, by the way, welcome to like the life of like working at a place like Collider, or as a movie critic in general, because like you will watch something and then you'll not be able to talk about it forever. And like Collider was really intense about spoiler bans, so like most people, including myself, got to see like early Avengers, like just like a week maybe. I think people staggered different times. Most of us were at this one screening, but like 2 people in the office weren't.
Mm-hmm.
And people were coming in and out all day, who were doing movie talk and stuff. But there are like signs posted everywhere that like if you talk about this movie, like you will not. It wasn't like you'll be punished or sent home for the day, but it was like very seriously like, do not spoil Avengers. Like do not talk about Avengers in the office if you've seen it. To the point that like someone had asked me if I think it was like Jeff Snyder came by and was like, "Hey, did you see it?" And I was like, "Yeah, I thought that was I think it was like pretty good or whatever." I'm realizing now that's what they said about Avengers, but it's also what they said about Mr. Glass, which is the one where Steve Frosty called me up and he was like, "Are you talking about Glass in the Office?" And I was like, "No, I said that I went to go see it." And he's like, "Okay, good. I just want to make sure that you're not spoiling Glass for everybody." Yeah, which Glass is like, yeah, people take that shit really seriously.
It's the highest level of secrecy, Glass and the Avengers.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, those 2 things. Was I ever on Movie Talk? No, I wasn't. Good question. Was it Jeremy Miller? Listen, I'm a doctor. What is going on with Galaghost?
Oh, he's talking to Kate.
Oh, lovely movie. Gotcha.
And Heart and Souls. Robert Downey Jr.
Heart and Souls. Oh my god, it's Heart and Soul.
Soul.
I think is it Heart and Souls?
I don't know.
Actually, Heart and Souls would make more sense considering there's like
now
7
we gotta
souls.
know because I'll trip you up on the Schmoedown.
That is gonna trip me up. Heart and Souls was maybe one of my first Robert Downey Jr. movies, and I absolutely loved it.
Heart and Souls, plural.
Oh my god, that makes more sense because I mean that's a play on words because there's so many souls inside of Robert Downey Jr., including Charles Grodin. Great movie. If you guys haven't seen Heart and Soul, which involves ghosts, but is in no way, shape, or form a horror movie. Fun story.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. There are plenty of non-horror movie like ghosts.
Yeah,
stories.
Christmas like things in a Christmas Carol.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are 10 times that ghosts are around. Angels in the Outfield.
Yeah,
not a horror movie. Hot take. Christian spoiler bans on matches is confusing. Yeah, I mean this wasn't Christian's thing. I think Christian's thing about bans and spoiler matches. I honestly don't have a hot take on that. I see it both ways.
Yeah. Spoilers suck. That's the hot take.
But like us living in a universe where we can't all just. Here's the thing too is like I used to be a TV critic, right? So I'd get episodes really early for shit, like for TV shows that hadn't premiered yet. And I would just be sitting on the fact that Westworld existed. Hey, puppy.
Our dog is, not our dog, but like
dog.
The dog here in the house is like whining at me because I haven't finished my last slice of pizza and I'm not sharing with him.
Oh, is that what he's doing?
Yeah.
Come over here, you dumb, stupid puppy.
Just give him a pepperoni.
Yeah, is Cujo a horror movie? Oh.
There, shut up.
Shut up. So wait, sorry. It's Cujo horror. I guess like if it's Stephen King, like it's generally horror.
Yeah.
Sorry, you guys just happened to hit on the one question that like of all the hot takes that I've ever had in my life, the one about whether certain like what classifies as horror, as I think you saw in that Schmoedown semifinals,
yeah.
like what classifies as horror is like maybe my trigger issue.
Yeah. Yeah, Andres, he came in like later, but yeah, we were talking about this because Janine, the machine, asked us, she asked us what's our favorite non-horror movie, and she said hers was The Terminator, and I said that's what your pick was when your review on your podcast. You're talking about your favorite horror films.
What's the name of Lewis's podcast?
It was an old podcast that they used to do. They don't do it anymore. It's called the Killer Horrorcast from Outer Space.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Like the Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Yeah. Love it. That was a great horror.
But they were great though. Yeah, Andres really knows this shit about horror movies.
Would love to talk to Andre some more about that then. So somebody said here, like Patriots versus something. You know, I've never seen John Schnapp's match.
Oh, really?
Should we watch it?
Yeah. Did you want to watch an old one? Do you want to watch one from today?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yes, thank you. Sup, Drew? Hey, Rock Movies with Tyler. Show us the puppy. Okay.
Ronan.
Whoa.
You're streaming.
You're on TV.
Are you embarrassed now?
Are you embarrassed now? Are you an influencer? Are you going? Nope, not gonna say that. Not gonna say what I was about to say. But not when this many people are watching. Today's match. Okay, so we're doing that. Shit, man. What did we do today? Well, we had fun. We went and like watched The End of the World.
Yeah.
We literally had that. I think we both were at Costco having the same sobering moment where it went from being fun to being like.
We participated.
Oh, this is it. But also like, oh shit, this like went from being like fun or like an outing to being like, oh, this is like upsetting. Yeah. this got mad upsetting.
Yeah.
The experiment. Okay. Oh, I love the Cinefanatics.
Yeah.
I love those guys. Another really fun thing about StreamYards, though, just not to be a super pluggy person, but I love StreamYards because look how easy it is to just find some other thing. You just do share audio, you press that button.
Smash that button.
You smash those buttons, just like you should be smashing, guys. You should be smashing that like and subscribe button. That's the one thing is you can't move it.
DogChronic.
DogChronic.
I don't know if you can hear him whining still.
DogChronic. I don't know why this is gonna be like that, but that's super annoying. Theater mode. I'll have to just move my head.
Ugh.
Yeah. So guys, let's move. What's how's physics work? There we go.
Yeah.
We're gonna be watching this match. Starting.
Yeah. So this is today's match.
Today's match. It's got so many more views than my show.
Just a bit.
There you go.
How's the audio, guys?
The audio is gonna be good
between us and the stream, the video.
I mean, good question, but I think it's better when it's on StreamYard.
Hey, Rob, I'll play.
I can't do it. There you go. I only don't touch my face, but I like touch the bathroom door. Guys, I have to tell you, I'm not very good at basic hygiene, and I've gotten real good at hygiene. I do want to say like our end of day scenarios, which is that we were both at that stoplight with the car running and not our seatbelts on, but Purelling our hands super hard before the car started being like.
Andres would appreciate that. She was telling me about the stand, like the irony of like living through a pandemic only to die in a car accident.
There's one chapter of the stand,
or like falling down the stairs. You'll know it, Andres.
yeah. So there's that one chapter of the stand, Andres, where like you just get like the story stops and you're just like shout out like R.I.P. to all those people who didn't get captain trips but died anyway because of stupid shit they like Darwinism awards that were happening. Like just to take a moment to remember all the real heroes of this story, the idiots who like took themselves out of the equation by like getting stuck in a refrigerator. Well, we were doing that essentially the same thing when we like went and we were like Purelling our hands with stuff from Ralph's, and then we realized like we were at a stoplight, the car was running, we were in the car, and then the car started being like, you don't have your seatbelts on, and it's raining super hard.
Yeah. And
also you're like just stopped at an intersection.
Yeah. So like that's when we realized that we could have just like lived that chapter of the stand.
We were literally that chapter of the stand. Want to say a quick thing about that intro, which is it needed an ending. That was not a scene. That was like a half scene.
I guess they probably would have put a button on it if that was like separated from the match, because now we just see him going to the match.
Oh, you just see
And
it.
I think
Just from a scene perspective, like you would never see a TV scene end that way. You need to see someone picking something up. It just can't end with somebody going okay and like shaking hands and walking off.
We should have just played sad music with Jack in the glasses.
Yeah,
to signify it's the
you're right. That should have been or that someone was gonna like now the gauntlet that someone's gonna pick up. That's like the perfect ending. If someone would pick it up, like Liz Shannon Miller or something.
Shannon Miller.
And then she's got to be primetime Paul.
It is the team's division. I'm Chris Baby Carrot's house right over there.
How's the audio, guys?
Division heats up once again.
You
You got
hear us
Corrupt, the experiment going up against Swag's final.
It was a fun cutscene, guys.
Let us know if it still sounds good.
In this division for a bit.
Hey, Rob.
That's the thing you gotta realize about this matchup. These teams, never heard of these team names before, but
I'm pretty excited, but like also kind of like freaked out, bummed. I don't know, like we don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Things we'll see. And I don't just mean about how good I'm gonna do. I mean about whether humanity is around.
Somebody who's quickly becoming an all-time name, Paul
Thanks,
Oyama.
Andres.
Their team
Thanks.
together.
They are teamed up.
I love how when we're hanging out, the audio just somehow fixes itself. So I seem like a crazy person who's called tech support, have him come over, and then is like, oh, but now it's working.
What's his confidence like? I spoke to him afterwards. He was
A little bit of a reverb and echo. Let's see.
Because it's so close.
Also,
it's understandable. It was a big match for his career, for his young
Tell me if
career.
that's
He's
better or
22
worse,
years
guys.
old.
Is he only 22?
He's had a
that's
meteoric
disgusting.
rise in the
Testing.
movie Trivia Schmoedown.
Is that
How's he
better
going to
or worse
return?
now?
What's he going to be
Should I
like?
put it on
And
a
then
little
you
more?
have Lon Harris, who's also shifted. I've talked to Winston Marshall.
Yeah,
This is not the
better
same
or
Lon
worse.
Harris. There's something going on with him. We don't know what yet. But,
New Lon Harris?
But there's something going on with Lon Harris.
Sounds good. Whatever we just had.
Okay.
sounded good.
Get a new
Oh.
pipe.
I don't know. But then you look
Better
at
or
the
worse?
experiment.
Sounds perfect. Everyone's like, it
Shannon
sounds
Barney
perfect.
has
Did
quickly
you change something
become
again?
one of
Yeah,
the
but
biggest
we'll see.
stars in
They'll
the
tell
league
us.
when it comes to
Alright.
managing. And you
Well,
have
they'll
to
tell
be
us.
when you're
You're
managing
also
corruption.
not.
And
You let us know if
she
anything
shot the
seems
world, not
amiss.
only when
And
she
if anything
chose
seems, if there's like a
Mark,
ghost
Puig,
girl behind
and
me.
Mark Puig just basically stood up in front of that whole
No,
audience,
thank
and
you.
the audience got scared collectively and shut up.
Horrified everyone.
He did it. He
Not
was-
since
That's
the
Heather's
ghost of
Dio
Gus has the
impersonation. No,
comedy
thank
store
you.
scene such horrific.
No, thank you.
So
No,
what
thank
this
you.
guy is an intimidating force.
Yeah,
but
that's a
the
good
other
point.
thing that she did is she split up the wild berries.
Yeah.
It was.
Well, the crowd still clearly.
When's the last time
I'm
a
still
cougar
hurt
came to a
about it.
match?
It was her choice to do it.
Came or just came to hang out?
Not like came on a match. Yeah, like came and hang out.
Not very often. He's a pretty busy guy these days.
This, and she drafted Dewberry and put these two together.
Great question.
And
Is
I
that a
don't know
thing?
What that's
Is the
going to be
event
like.
rule for having
The
listed
big
her rule?
personality of Dewberry against this.
I'm not sure if the whole
anomaly
country,
in Mark
California,
Puig.
is
I don't know
about
what
to
we're going to see in it. It
enact
is
that.
certainly an experiment.
You know, Christian, I'm not as smart as
Cam
somebody
1,
named the
25,
Professor
50
Lon
people
Harris,
in
but
that.
I will tell you with an experiment, I know that there's controls and there's variables. Seems
Guys,
like you
I've
get
been
two
preparing my
pretty
whole
big
life for this to
variables in
happen,
this
but I
particular
forgot about my
experiment. How are
contrary
they gonna
defiance disorder,
catch
which
up
means the
to the
moment
final
that
exam?
we
Well,
go
we're
under
gonna
like
find out a little
lockdown is
bit
the moment
about
I'm
this
like,
team.
but I
I'll
want to
tell you
hang out
here,
with
kind of
people.
What
I've
is
spent the
going on?
last
Let's see
year and a
what's up.
half in like solitary
And
confinement,
evil
quarantining
begets
myself.
evil. So I felt corruption.
And yet the moment, like, seriously, the hot second they're like, stay in your house and don't go out and don't go to work, I get really mad.
You manage a flesh-eating
Came on to the action, guys.
I love one.
Corruption stands for doing what needs
Echoes
to be
back,
done,
haha.
and
Hold
I
on.
am going
So that
to
means-
leave a wrath of scorched earth upon everybody here.
Wait, so that means.
You look really nervous. Don't be.
Yeah, man, that was terrifying. You know, the vibe's a little different this time around.
I have a feeling I'm gonna need a little more champagne for this one. Elliot Dewberry.
Oh, wow!
Yes.
No! He's taking Dewberry! No! Just
You know
split
what?
up! The wild berries officially, they're gone!
That's one thing
We're
I can
upset
say.
right now, man. You know, Shannon broke
I
up the
promise
wild
that I can
berries.
do that.
Like, Dewberry should be with us, and instead, you know,
Wild
he's
berries!
Thanks, that's a great question.
Woo!
Any
Schmoedown
right now,
needs
Drew?
you, okay? I drafted you. I've got you.
Those ruffian? I mean,
All
Screw
right.
that, man. I don't care anymore. I dropped out.
I traversed a lot of the California woods.
Hey guys,
So-
this is a work in
I was out
progress.
there
Test,
for a while,
test.
and you know,
Testing
black people
that.
don't do mountain lions. I
Testing
was
that.
not very happy about it.
God, I can't.
Stop it. I take
There we
the
go.
man that will be
Nope.
taking
Yep.
his belt back.
We got professional operation going on here.
Paulo Yama
Hi.
talked to him.
See if I
You
can-
saw the scene.
Okay,
My boy is a changed man, like a grave hope once said.
okay. It's like I feel like we started out with audio being fine, and we've gone to audio being worse.
Yeah.
World champion of the movie
Okay.
trivia showdown. I'm talking about Mr. Paul Oyama.
Back. Okay. I'm gonna help you join the Discord right now. It's about a tier level.
That's bad audio in general. Don't
That's
worry
just
about
bad
that.
audio in general. I can change
Fixing
it.
on that. We're working on that.
Let's see.
Yeah. Spectacular was a little rough.
This is a new season. New opportunities.
Rob Clark says, what do you guys think of the new Oyama? Good for good. I'll let Hoyt do his thing real quick.
About how fame is
Hold
fleeting,
on.
and that is why they gave Caesar a laurel wreath. So
See, do you see how like Mark's coming out of the shell?
Humility, but you had it in front of thousands of loving fans. You did not learn your humility the way I did. With your producer.
Oh shit, guys, we're $3 short of hitting the donation goal on my Patreon, which means Video Drew Reviews, which is gonna be a new show, possibly pre-recorded. That's gonna be in character.
Probably be safest to be pre-recorded.
Probably be safest to be pre-recorded. It's definitely gonna be in character, and it's gonna be Video Drew reviewing things. So if you go to patreon.com /Video Drew, then you can donate and help us hit that. We're also starting 2 other shows. One with Alex Mack that is going to be, I guess, like not as much kayfabe. It's going to be called, oh my god, why am I blanking on the name? Cinema Bias, where we're going to review each other's, we're going to watch movies each week that the other one does not want to see, and then discuss like its cultural impact and its bias. We're also starting my Patreon right now. You can vote on a poll to see which franchise you can make me watch. I don't know what's winning right now, but I believe it's the Star Wars prequels.
He went from the head of the class.
That's great.
I don't want to watch that.
I watched the video.
I should put Terminator on there.
Andres is offended.
Andres
loves the Terminator films. All of them.
Ugh.
All of them. He knows the other ones are bad, but yeah, he loves all.
Ugh. Wait, where do people start thinking it's bad?
3 and forward. And then some people say the new one is good. I don't know.
You're right. Can I do this right now? But I'm gonna try for 2 more seconds, and then I won't try anymore. I promise.
Rob Clark took $5.
Yeah, thank you, Rob. I just saw that. That actually appeared on my phone. Guys, I have gone from being able to do this on a functional level to being a totally non-functional human being. So, thanks for your patronage.
But I do like Paul's face turn. If you want to call it that. I don't know if he was exactly a heel before. That was like the thing.
He definitely was a heel before.
Yeah, like, but now he's trying to turn face, trying to be more humble, and it's good. I mean, Paul's a great guy. Like,
Paul's a great guy.
After shooting and everything, and he's always such a fun guy. He'll be crashing him for.
Oh yeah, when's he gonna be here? Tomorrow? Yeah, we're gonna see him tomorrow, so we can't say shit about him.
Can't talk shit right
now. Wait, now it's telling us how to do it.
What about the tail of the tape, Mark? What are the strengths?
Well, they are very good at a lot of things.
Get started.
You look at an Elliot Dewberry, he knows his actual adventure film. With
Incredible chemistry between these two.
Wait, between us? I was like, fair.
Very well. Paul Oyama, he went with classics and the spectacular didn't work out, but Oyama also very good at.
Did Oyama go with classics?
Right, so
that's one of his strengths, but it totally bit him in the ass in spectacular.
No.
Jesus.
The answer is no, I am not.
Well, we'll ask the crowd if they're ready. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time
I don't know how to do this.
And that's what I talk about sometimes in the matches. Like always go with your strength for the wheel spin, sure, but sometimes like it might not work out for you.
Wait, I never say go to your wheel strength.
Yeah.
I always say go to what you know the other person's bad at, and just try to.
That's what we were talking about with Emily Rose Jacobson and Alex Damon. And she spun Spinner's Choice.
And she didn't really know what to put on there.
Yeah.
That sucked. And I think that's the one time it's been used this season. Oh, now I remember why I can't do it. I have to do it on here. I got it. I do have it. I just forgot you can't do it through the app. What else is going on?
We were talking about with Alex Damon and Rose Jacobson. It just sucks. Yeah, it's hard to, since Damon's such a dominant force in Star Wars, we don't know what else he might be dominant in that league.
Query whether she even knew that she was like that strong in Star Trek though, because if you're really strong in something, that's like what it's okay. So you put stuff on the wheel. In my opinion, you put stuff on the wheel that you know your opponents are going to be bad at versus what you're going to be good at.
Yeah.
But if you spin Spinner's Choice, you never like think about that. You just only think about what you're good at, because if you're good in it, then they'll never have a chance to steal.
Yeah.
And if you're good enough to even have to go to multiple choice, like that you would have to go to multiple choice, you'll probably get the multiple choice, and then even if you don't.
Heather says she's going to bed.
Good night, Heather. Thank you so much for showing up in this chat and being awesome.
I've
never seen a Star Trek movie.
Yeah, like Like a lot of people say, those inner geekdom questions for the throwdown were super easy. It's subjective, you know.
It's subjective.
It's what you know. It's what you know.
I think things are getting easier this season, though.
The questions arguably are easier. I think that's just by the definition of like putting everything back in rotation. But I think it is like a bit of subjectivity to it too. Like a lot of people argue that the inner geekdom questions in the throwdown match were super easy, but my gauge for that is always like, can my mom answer those questions like relatively easily? And like those inner geekdom questions, like no, she would never be able to answer those questions like in her life.
Except for the Harry Potter ones, I feel like a lot of people's moms did answer.
What was that one?
Any of them. Oh, wait, sorry. You were saying at the live night.
The throwdown, yeah.
I couldn't get any of those questions. But then again, like I'm like miss me with that nerd shit. Miss me with that nerd shit. I'm gonna have to. Even if I watch those movies 100 million times, like if I watch the Middle-earth movies 100 million times, I can swear to fucking Christ, I would never remember like the name of the goddamn trees. They're made up names. They're bullshit. Like
all names are made up.
Wow, guys, if you're on Twitch, someone clip that out.
Just go home now.
All names are bullshit.
You'll learn.
Okay. I wish I could make myself not.
These guys were just like, come answer some questions, and I was like, I don't know, effort sounds lame, but I bet, it's like, I feel like maybe we could beat these guys without trying, so that'd be cool.
Very odd.
What?
I feel if drunk
Oh my God,
version of drunk Brent came alive.
Darren,
Right there. Christian, this is the
horrible
match
thing
I've
is,
ever called in this young season. I'm looking at two nice,
like,
outstanding young
if
gentlemen.
you study the way a lot of people study for this league, I don't think that's true. And not even study. I know a lot of answers to questions not based on whether or not I've seen the movie, but like whether I've watched the Schmoedown question that's happened before, or if I've memorized an IMDb thing.
Yeah, that's studying. That's part of studying. Yeah,
sure.
I think. Yeah, but
you don't have to have seen it.
If it's a contextual question, sometimes it is hard to. If you just haven't seen it, you just haven't seen it.
Well, and an inner geekdom's more contextual.
Yeah.
But I think I like the way they're doing it this season, which is all the shows, all the episodes, matches. First round number one has gotten way easier. That used to be the hardest fucking round, was round number one, because like you just had to know it or not know it. You can confer. And I just like did terribly at it. Like it was just based on purely you playing yourself. Like you were playing against yourself. And I hated it. And now I feel like round one has gotten super easy. But round two is harder because it's contextual. However, that being said, not that many people are hitting perfect round ones. More people are, but like not everyone is hitting a perfect round one in these matches, because there are just some things that are you just miss.
What?
Are you chewing gum?
Yeah, like for my match.
No, it's not gum.
I just got what he's doing. The teacher has become the student.
Yeah.
I like the professor.
What are we talking about? Headphones.
Yeah, he's gone from being the professor to being like the slacker. Oh, I get it.
All right, so
Mark here.
Here we
go. Yeah, Mark.
They never cheated. Let's ask.
Yankees fan. They never cheated.
Are you ready?
Once we're into the reach, let's do this.
We asked.
What's my Schmoedown?
Are you ready?
I don't. Are you asking me?
Affirmative.
What is
Then
the
let's
fun?
get ready.
I don't. There is none.
For Drew, that's like her study method is like
Nothing.
never touching this movie.
Oh wait, no, it exists. It's called what I'm gonna be doing on my Patreon.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna make me watch them.
Yeah. And on just my study
plays
methods.
Detective Lee Butters in Lethal Weapon 4, who is dating the daughter of Danny Glover's character.
Can I ask
I know
you to
this
rank
question
your
just because of
favorite
Schmoedown.
Lethal Weapon films in order.
1, 2, 4, 3.
I thought you go 2 first.
Darren, untrue, because I about the Harry Potter things,
3,
because
2.
a lot of it has to do with like who plays who.
Yes. Dewberry? Yes.
It has to do with who directed.
And Mark.
Not in Inner Geekdom as much, but I like
Rock.
the Inner Geekdom. I like the Inner Geekdom for that reason.
A lot of questions about Chris Rock.
I like the Inner Geekdom style of questioning. Like when I did the horror exhibition, even though I did terribly, I like that style of
Is the
questioning.
next category. And your question: what
I knew the
80s
answer to Chris
film
Rock, by the way.
is known for the line "Nobody puts baby in a corner"?
That's dumb.
Footloose.
I gotta be honest. I was expecting the audience.
However, when they asked that in what the
No groan here.
you just made me watch it. It was the Inman versus wasn't it?
Mom.
I think you and I are operating under that as
Cushing.
well.
Somebody versus Cushing, and
3,
she had to name the whole
2,
name of baby, like
1,
what's
pens
baby's
down,
full
Dewberry.
name in Dirty Dancing.
Didn't have it. Lon.
Oh,
Dirty Dancing.
Yes,
that wouldn't be
Mark.
Inner Geekdom. So.
I want to be
Dirty
interviewed. I
Dancing.
forget, but it was Cushing who answered it. And
Dirty
Oh,
dancing.
All right. So
it might have been
Dewberry.
it might have been the one where Miss
4,
Movies
4,
from the whole
3,
thing.
final
Oh,
exam
yeah,
goes
probably.
up.
Something like that.
Dramas
That's one we
is your
watched
next
last weekend.
category. which famous 1957 film from director Sidney Lumet follows a jury as they deliberate on the case of a young man accused of murder?
That's
You
so
ever
many
murdered?
context questions.
No,
That's
my
my
point.
contextual clues.
You know what?
It's
I
like,
actually
you could just
appreciate
know the
how he
director,
enunciates
you
his
could just
names.
know the year,
I'll take more
you could just know this is like an
Ulrich,
Academy
I
Award
hear
winner.
myself say that.
5,
And the answer is very clearly the
4,
one movie from back then. It's
3,
about people deliberating on
2,
a trial.
1. Lon,
So 12 Angry Men.
it is Mark Hoyk.
12 Angry Men.
You know what they never
I
asked about?
love
How
it,
green is
actually.
my
I love it,
valley?
Paul.
But you wouldn't
What
really
the fuck that
kill
movie's about?
12 Angry Men.
And they never will.
Here we go.
All right.
So now
We'll
we're
just,
at
we'll just let
6-5.
you know that it's the same
Final
year that
exam,
Orson Welles
holding
lost
their
after
lead.
it.
I
from,
happen to
Sushi
agree with
King.
you very much. I love the way Mark Hoyk answers
Oh,
I
questions.
love
good
the
job,
way
Troy.
he enunciates. Your next category is in the world of crime films.
Start studying release dates,
Something
directors, composers,
Lon
film,
Harris
short,
is probably familiar
list from
with.
Googling.
Can't prove anything.
Wrote out list. Yeah, I mean, Troy,
Your
that just takes
question.
the fun out of it for me.
Brad Pitt
Writing
plays
things.
an Irish gypsy or pikey in what 2000 crime film?
That question sounds really familiar.
Lon looks like a guy who steals candy from the neighborhood Woolworths.
Almost like somebody I know might answer that as. That's not mine.
5,
Yes, ours?
4,
Uh-uh.
Was yours wrong?
3, 2,
Oh, maybe it is.
1.
How many other girls you got coming over here?
Snatch.
Yes, sir.
0.
Oh, I'm 0.
Snatch.
Yes.
There's like 4 dudes
You
that
like
live here.
dags?
5 dudes.
Yes.
Hey, wait.
Everybody got
See,
it.
like dags. You guys remember when I got that question as a round 1 this season?
Bullet tooth Tony right
Because
here.
I love Christian trying not to laugh at
You like
Lost
dags?
Snatch
funny,
joke.
Yeah.
Next
Snatch.
question. From fantasy sci-fi, who directed the 2005 film Serenity?
Oh God!
Oh,
What do we
great.
get for some of that right now?
Who recently?
Just,
Oh.
Yeah,
geez.
I'm with you.
Yeah,
Hawaii.
I forget that we talk about recent masters that have come out or something that happened that I'm not allowed to talk about yet. Like, Can someone
cannot talk about,
subsequent-
we cannot talk about
2,
something that I think that you're thinking of.
1.
Okay.
We start with Paul Oyama.
Joss Whedon.
Yes. Dewey?
Joss Whedon.
Yes.
Yeah,
Lon?
it's Joss Whedon.
And Mark.
Joss Whedon.
You better switch it up on us now. All right, next question.
Chucker Bear followed you,
Your
by
next
the way.
category is in the
Huckleberry.
world of
Yeah.
comedies.
53. So he followed you. This could be a nice
I'll
patient
take
here.
it.
Alright, hold on.
Your question:
Thank you
What
for following.
2015
Oh, thanks, Chugger Bear.
holiday comedy stars Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Seth Rogen, and Anthony Mackie?
I think in my highlight of my heyday of reading Game of Thrones, like when the show was first starting, by the time I read got to Dance of Dragons, I could have probably answered interviewed some questions in it because I've been immersed that much in it.
About
But
Ice
about
Ice and Fire stuff.
yeah, Ice and Fire stuff.
2,
However, like I didn't grow up
We
with Lord of the
start with
Rings
Elliot
and I've
Dewberry.
never read the
Night
books,
before.
Yes,
so I
sir.
don't think it'd make a
Lon?
difference.
Yeah, the night before.
Mark.
This I said the night.
The night before.
How did I answer it? I was like
The night-
Christmas,
the night before.
and I was like, the night before Christmas, and I was like, I was one step away from
Yeah.
actually having the correct
You're
answer.
always on either
The
side
rest
of
the
it.
team, excuse me, the rest
Hey,
of the
Jugger Bear.
players playing with a
I would have, yeah, I
All
know
right,
Lord of the
2
Rings
more questions
lore
remain.
pretty well,
First,
but there's a
we
lot
go
of
to
Lord of the
scary
Rings that's
world
not in the
horror
movies.
slash thriller, something
That
we
is
are
like
currently
completely
That's
useless in movie
Which
trivia Schmoedown. Yeah.
2018 horror film stars Toni Collette, Alex Wolff,
Hey.
and Gabriel
Hey, do you think this movie's a horror movie?
Is this a heel movie?
This is a heel movie. Great question. Asking to the crowd, is Hereditary a heel movie?
You went to bed after you see a Freddy Krueger
5.
film.
Oh my God.
4, 3,
He's a funny
We
guy.
got a lot to get
2,
through tonight. We have to do this all
1.
in.
And we start with Lon Harris.
Hereditary.
Yes. Mark Hoyk.
Hereditary.
Yes. Paul.
Oscar for Tony. Hereditary.
Yes. Hereditary. Okay.
So far, Mark hasn't missed any,
13.
right?
Tony
And
Collette.
who has?
Just Dewberry.
So where we are
Just
at
Dewberry
this moment
has missed.
That's
is
that's
we've got
ironic. Only
both
Dewberry missed the
Paul
question.
Oyama, Lon Harris, Mark
What was-
Hoyk
which one was it?
toying with a perfect first
no,
round. If they
this could
all
be in the
hit
corner.
this, they all have
God,
perfect
really?
rounds.
Yeah.
Your last category is in the world
See,
of
that
animated
shows you. Some
movie.
people just
Movies drawn by
some
hand or on
questions
a
are just
computer. Your
they just
question:
don't know.
Yeah.
Who voices the title character in the 2018 film The Grinch? Been a
This
lot
was a
of
great
iterations of
question.
that over the years.
This was a
Some
great
could
question
trip
because I
someone
almost
up,
fell into the trap and
trying
I
to get
just
a
I just
perfect
turned to
game.
Eric and I
Here's
went,
where
well,
the
that's
pressure is
that's
the
Jim
most
Carrey.
Yeah.
And 5, 4,
Making Diamonds.
3, 2, 1. We start with Mark Hoyk.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Perfect round for Hoyk.
All right.
Paul.
Hey, Garth.
Benedict
Hey,
Cumberbatch.
Garth, okay. Garth, how you feeling, man?
Dewberry didn't have it. And Lon?
I don't know how to pronounce this. Benedict
And
Cumberbatch.
Paul also had it. So final exam finds himself with a perfect
Question all
round, but
matches.
so does Mark Hoyk. So here's how it works. all you guys will have to write
Who
on
directed
will not be
that
participating
Grinch,
in
the
this
animated
particular
Grinch?
question here,
Oh
but
God,
we'll
who
have
knows?
both final exam and
Dude,
Mark Boyd.
who directed the
Please write your
non-animated? Was
answer
that
down the
Rob
same way
Reiner?
you would
No,
for
it
the
wasn't Rob
previous.
Reiner.
And
Ron
here's your
Howard.
bonus
Was
question.
it Ron Howard?
This
I was
Academy
close.
Award-winning actress played Lady Tremaine, the evil stepmother in Disney's
This is the one I got wrong.
adaptation of Cinderella.
This I could not
Not a
pull.
lot of good stepmothers.
I thought Angelica Houston because I was thinking of Ever After.
There's great
Then
stepmothers
I
in real
thought
life.
of
Disney?
Christine
Not so much.
Christine, what's her name?
Baranski.
Baranski, because
Four.
I was thinking of Into the Woods, where she's Cinderella's stepmom. It's like I had too
Two.
much information.
One, pens down, please. Start with Paul.
Kate Blanchett.
Yes, perfect round. Lon,
Kate Blanchett.
perfect. And Mark Boyd.
Justice for Emma Thompson.
No, he didn't have it. Wow. Big
Now,
miss
see,
here
I'm impressed
because
that he's done this well this far, because I know Mark knows a lot. He's like me. He knows a lot about certain movies, but they're never the movies that get asked about. He'll be the first to tell you.
Yeah.
Like same with Paul.
Yeah, I
Same
mean,
with
it
Paul
seems
Preston.
like it was really
And Adam
tit
Witt, I
for
think.
tat. Stop laughing at that.
Like, we love movies, they're just
And
never the
when
movies
you
that get
look
asked
at it,
about.
Now it's a 4-point advantage, and all of a sudden that's a big time point differential as we enter into round at number 2. Round number 2 is the wheel round, and ladies and gentlemen,
Wheel
it's a special
round.
wheel. It's a sponsored wheel by Mr. Nathan.
Wait, are you like
Odell.
under your breath just saying all the things that they have to say?
Yeah.
Make sure
That's
everybody out there checks out
low-key
the movie
hilarious
review
and
going
sort
on
of Stockholm
Patreon. Select
syndrome.
tiers right for you.
It's
Maybe
like
an
you've just been
upcoming
watching this
event.
shit
I
on
will
edit
say
so much.
I do. I
like
watch
I
these
just
edits
did
like
for
so many
Mr.
times.
Nathan
You guys want to
Odell.
hear a
These
fun
sponsored
behind-the-scenes
slices
fact
are
about
Audrey
NerdChronic?
Hepburn and Dwayne
I came in today and NerdChronic watches
Johnson.
matches at
Yeah,
double the
I like it.
speed, which
You're
I
gonna
think
see
he
a
also said you
total
do for
of
TV
12
shows
Watch-
and,
judges on
and
there.
I think
You have
most
a
media
listener's
that doesn't
choice
have
songs,
any
10
artistic
movie,
pacing to it, I
trivia,
listen to
Schmoedown
at double speed.
categories. Each category
That's
contains
fucking crazy.
So
6
like
So you listen to
podcasts,
podcasts?
like the edits,
format. Once a team
yeah,
settles
like
on a
reviews
category,
and stuff
each
like that.
question
Yeah, I
for
listen
2
to it.
points. There's no penalty
Yeah,
for missing
Everything
a
at
that's
question.
double
crazy.
speed.
Is stealing.
Hold
In
on, I'm
round
playing
number 2,
a
so you're answering
new.
the answer, ask us multiple
Lala.
choice. We'll give you
Does
4
Lala
options,
have
one
a
of which is the
period?
correct
I mean,
answer. At that point, the value of the question
Okay.
goes down to 1.
No,
Finally,
there's a thing
Sam,
between
you
Lala,
find
right?
yourselves
No,
with a 4-point
is there like a little
advantage.
hyphen?
All upstanding young man. Juan
No.
is there
Just
too.
like that.
Would you like to spin or defer to your opponent?
All right, so the experiment will go first. Who's going to spin it? Will it be Dewberry or Mark Boyd? They're making Dewberry do it. That seems to be a phrase known around the world now. They're making Dewberry do it.
Yeah, David. Yeah, it would have to have a theatrical release.
I think he's still.
Wait, what's the question?
I'm gonna talk about Lord of the Rings and stuff.
Yeah, because the Clone Wars doesn't count as shit. But ironically, Batman questions in Inner Geekdom can be about Batman movies that weren't in theaters. You ever notice that?
Do they know?
Yeah, because they asked about the Burgess Meredith film, which I believe was a TV movie.
No, that was an action movie. Batman 66. That was an action movie. It was released theatrically.
Batman season 6 was released.
66.
66.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah. Batman the movie.
I feel like there was another anime, or maybe we were just talking about.
Yeah, they do ask about Lego Batman, but that's also
Yeah, no, that was
released,
released
They're going
theatrically.
to force the experiment to answer 6 questions from. Interesting choice here, Christian.
We're gonna
It's
see.
funny during this creative time who like reaches out. Like I've gotten a lot of you up
That's interesting.
like messages from people during the apocalypse, basically.
All right.
Gotten a lot of I haven't talked to you in a decade. What's up?
We will
And I don't mean just
do
guys. I'm
these
talking to
two
like a friend of mine who was my
experiments.
freshman year
6
college roommate.
All right, here we go.
Good job.
Jess. Are you
Garth
ready to go?
says Batman Mask of the Phantasm was released in theaters as well. And I remember that. I saw it in
It was-
theaters.
it was or
Yeah,
wasn't?
it was.
Of the second
I remember. I saw it in theaters. I remember that.
Huh. Wait, what was it?
Grown.
It was the subtitle of the second Twilight film.
Oh, I got this one wrong. I said Eclipse because I answered too fast. Or I said new.
Multiple
It's
choice.
New Moon and it's
A.
Eclipse. Right?
Eclipse. B.
It's New Moon.
C.
Oh, right.
Breaking Dawn.
That doesn't make sense in terms of lunar cycles, so that bothers me.
New moon.
For 1 point. Nice.
Like you don't go from a new moon to an eclipse. You wouldn't know it was a fucking eclipse.
Question number
Dude, you guys
2.
watch Twilight movies?
Which actress is the lead in the Mortal Instruments City of Bones?
I had to go to multiple choice, but I knew it eventually.
The multiple choice questions here are
These are good multiple
pretty good.
choice.
You know,
Multiple
the
choice,
alternating options.
A. Lily James.
I hope
B.
it like if
Connie
I'll
Solario.
send this if someone
C.
timestamps it.
Cara
I'll
Delevingne.
send this
D.
to
Lily Collins.
Patrick and not Patrick PJ because I do think that when I did the birdcage quiz last night, I thought a lot about the multiple choices,
Lily
and I like
James.
really had a new appreciation
Correct choices are
for what they do. Like multiple choice strip ups are like half the fun of writing
Lily
questions.
James.
Yeah.
Like
Multiple
Lily,
choice, there's an art to
Lily
it.
James, Lily
Carol,
Collins.
D, Lily Collins.
Yeah, they were close, but it's Lily Collins.
There's definitely a lot of logic put into it.
There's a logic to it, and it sometimes penalizes you if the idea is like if you go to multiple choice too much, it'll penalize you by tricking you.
Yeah. Hey, Robert Adams, Center Fanatic.
How's Texas right now? I'm kind of
Cancel
stuck out there, but
Yes.
not really.
That's a
No.
big get.
Yeah, they needed that.
3 questions remain. The experiment fully in control of their own destiny. They could take the
Dude,
lead.
okay, so again, this is my freshman year college friend. She goes, "Where are you up to, boo?" And I was like, "I don't know." Like, she goes, "Hopefully Taco Bell." And then she goes, "I said I'm in Los Angeles." She goes, "Are you Schmoedowning?"
Technically, yes, at this moment.
How does she even know about that?
Did you not tell her?
I haven't talked to her since freshman year of college.
It's so funny. That means she watches you.
That'd be, no, or like I post that
Yeah,
constantly.
that's true.
Sam Claflin.
No, this one I got through context clues. Texas is all right. Everything's canceled. I was supposed to be there right now. The one thing that isn't canceled is my former job.
One more point for the
And
that's the way you
now I'm trying to think about the internal logic behind me quitting that job when I was like, they were going to make me go somewhere. And then I was like, instead, the same day, I'm going to get on a flight and go to LA. It's because I'm not going to fucking die for a job. I'll just die from being stupid.
Blake Lively, America Ferrara, Amber Tamblyn, and Alexis.
Watch this.
The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
Mark knew that answer.
Great movie.
Mark knew that answer without consulting anyone. And like, I don't want to be condescending when I say that. Like, that is really cool and surprises me and shows me that he's studying.
Superstar.
Yeah.
Plays a character named Rosemary in 2014's The Giver.
Oh, that's really
Your
sweet,
girl.
Garth. This is the one about. Wait,
Multiple choice, please.
who plays?
All right. A. Taylor Swift. B.
The answer's Taylor
Rihanna.
Swift.
C. Selena Gomez. D.
I didn't even hear the
Karen
question, but
Underwood.
I remember she was in The Giver. Yeah.
Selena Gomez.
No.
Is incorrect for a 1-point steal.
Also,
A.
that's
Taylor
not even a
Swift.
good context
B.
question, guys.
Rihanna.
Selena.
C. Selena Gomez. D. Carrie Underwood.
Miss Americana. Taylor Swift.
One more point.
Miss America.
This is
I hope
massive.
Paul is also like Taylor Swift fan, so you guys can like geek out about
Paul, from what I've gotten, loves YA.
Who
Like he's using this right because it's a new category, right?
it. Yeah. So
He's-
he gave him
He gave him the
pick here,
opponent's choice, and
Yeah,
that's like.
That's his name.
I mean, I'm not guessing it's Lon Harris's thing. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
I don't think Lon Harris's thing is YA,
Yeah.
and so Paul's either utilizing the same method of and going with something. It's just really smart. You can just tell Dewberry and Mark. I'm surprised they did as well as they did.
Yeah.
I would think they would have done way worse.
It's so hard with the youth
But it's
today
obviously
to keep
something
them
Paul
focused on
knows.
something.
Oh, looks like he's gonna hit it.
Oh, that's a huge play. That's what the experiment needed. But now, Christian, the experiment.
They got spinach choice?
has to go
Opponent's
up
choice.
there
Oh,
and select
opponent's
the
choice.
list they
Hot
think is
take.
gonna give finalists a problem.
Getting
So
spinach
that's-
choice is way more stressful
Who
than,
is
like,
that?
than having someone spin opponent's choice.
Yeah.
Or that you spin opponent's
Like,
choice.
work
Yeah.
here?
It's more embarrassing if you get Spanish choice and then like flunk on
Right,
that.
exactly. It also takes a lot more fucking logical things. At least the way I'm playing it, I'm always playing it to what they're bad at, never what I'm good at.
Yeah.
Did we ever get it? I don't think so.
It's like that joke. It's like you don't when you're in the woods and you're being chased by a bear, you don't have to outrun the bear.
You just have to do that.
You just have to outrun the person next to you.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You just have to outrun the person next to you, and you will be up
Yeah.
in someone else's category. You're right. That's very much like it.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
Lon is so great. Does she work here?
Does she work here?
I thought they were gonna go movies.
Is that his thing about Is that his thing about Shannon?
Yeah, he doesn't know who she is.
That's like also the hardest girl.
This is gonna be interesting because that might come back to bite him.
That's right. The 90s, the decade where Paul Oyama was born and Lon Harris sold weed in Seattle.
Yo, Ellis, we'll meet up after this by my car.
All right. I'm not going anywhere with you, Lon.
All right, here we go.
In the world of the 90s, your first of 6 questions. Question number 1. What 1992 comedy has multiple endings, including the Scooby-Doo ending?
I'm sure you know this, Andres.
So, Wayne's World.
Party on Wayne and Party on Garth. 2 points.
So now final exam. Finds himself 23.
Should we make a horror film?
Yeah.
Should we make a horror film? Just
Yeah,
write,
like, we got-
produce,
like, look,
and release a
you're
horror
an
film?
editor. I'm scary.
Chubby Rain.
It writes itself.
It writes itself.
Bowfinger.
It is
Bowfinger is
for 2
one of my
more
mom's
points.
favorite films, and so
Here we
therefore one
go.
of my favorite films.
What best
Hey,
picture
Joey.
winning
Joey
film?
Moda.
Joey.
Ned Logan, W.W. Beauchamp, Delilah
Beauchamp.
Fitzgerald,
Beauchamp.
and Skinny Dubois.
Unforgiven.
2 more
Two
points.
I did
more
not know what that
points.
was.
All right, Christian, it is now an 8-point advantage. Final exam. Remember, steals are still in play.
Not sure if I'm
so
still
the
on
experiment
Twitch.
does
Am I
have some
still on
options, but
Twitch?
I don't see the final exam missing. Maybe this next
Maybe.
question in the world of the
No,
night.
I think I'm
In the
still on Twitch.
1990 movie Presumed Innocent, who
Yeah, I'm on
plays
Twitch.
lawyer Alejandro
Oh, look, weird.
Sandy Stern?
Oh wait, it did it for a second.
Maybe they finally got stumped on this one. 5.
Got a multiple choice.
I can provide that. Is
One
it A.
comment.
Andy Garcia, B.
Critical
Raul
Role Chat is
Julia,
impossible.
C. Edward
Oh,
James
hello.
Olmos, or
Wait,
D.
so
Esau Morales?
Hambone, you got some things next to you. You got this loot symbol next to your name and a burst. I don't know what that means, but congratulations on
Andy Garcia.
That is incorrect. I'm going to give you your
I'm
options
doing something
once
on
again
Twitch.
for multiple choice on a
Thank you
point.
for being
Is it
first.
A. Andy Garcia, B. Raul Julia, C. Edward James Olmos.
Remember how I
or
got
D.
this answer?
Esau Morales.
Because I said
Raul
Antonio
Julia.
That's a big
Banderas
steal.
would be the only person that would be named that character thing, and then when they went to multiple choice, I said
Into play.
it would have to be Raul Julia.
There's the first question.
There's only so many people that were allowed to be
They are
Hispanic.
indeed mournful.
Not just
And your
Hispanic, but like
question, your
that
penultimate one
Latin
in the
kind
world
of
of the
name.
90s. In Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me, Dr. Evil and Scott exchange emotional words on national television on whose talk show?
When they say emotional words, I think this would trip me up. If I hadn't remembered the movie.
Yeah,
Or, like,
I do think they were trying to rephrase using the word fight because that would give it away as Jerry Springer.
To
Right.
A. Dr. Phil, B. Maury,
Emotional
C.
makes me
Oprah,
think
or D.
it's
Jerry
Dr.
Springer.
Phil.
I think it's Jerry Springer.
You think correct. That's a point.
All right.
Is Lon very good at movies?
Going to the third round.
No, I'm asking. I'm sorry.
He has good movies. Like he has the knowledge. I think he's like an A-level teams player,
Okay.
but like a lower or like B+ level singles player. I mean,
Oh, like
he's,
me.
he's fantastic. He's fantastic. He's always had like such a hard run, like going up against like really tough opponents.
I want to see myself in another single match because I honestly think that I'm much better than I give myself credit for.
Yes.
And
You're not old enough
the
to see that,
only
young man, but yes, 2 points.
thing that makes me think that sometimes is when I go back and I look at my very first match against Brendan Meyer, which should have been, considering how, like, you know, I played him in the semifinals and everyone said I was carried all the way through that season. But considering, like, how I did against him in that first match,
That is a tall
we were like,
order for the
it was not like an
experiment in
easy,
round
like, it
number
wasn't
3.
obvious who was going to
Each
win.
team is gonna give us a series of
And-
I made him go to
numbers,
his 5
3 numbers per
pointer.
team. These
And you've
numbers
both
can
grown a
range
lot
from
since
1
then.
to 20.
We've both been on a lot since then. I mean, I would say he
Corner
clearly
of
has
the
the
movie
superior
trivia
movie
Schmoedown
knowledge, and I had
Galaxy.
never seen
The first
Schmoedown.
questions worth 2
So
points,
not only
second
did I not have the
three,
movie
last
knowledge, I
one,
also
5
did not
points.
know how to play the game.
Because this is a team format,
Darren
once we tell you
asks,
what the
"Have you
category
ever
for
done
each
Why is the
question
feathers
is,
tip of the
team
board?"
must decide
Of
which
course, I'm a
individual
shit
member is
in
going
the
to answer.
90s.
You
He's
may
super
not rely
goth.
on
I
your
never
team's
done Why is
knowledge
the
for the
feathers tip of the
2-pointer
board.
or the 3-pointer, which will be answered by the
I have
other
another
team
question
member.
for you.
So,
Have you ever watched that series on Hulu?
losing
I
by
did not.
10 to final exam. So final exam.
Guys, what are you all going to be
Remember,
watching during the Purge
from
or
1 to
whatever?
20, what feels lucky, gentlemen?
Bubonic Purge.
Yeah.
4,
What?
19, and 7.
Like, what are we gonna be watching?
apocalyptic like USA movie should we watch while listening to Party in the USA?
Yeah. And like rereading The Stand.
My locker combo.
By the way, if I'm right about this pandemic, then I'm so mad because a couple years ago we had time to make The Stand instead of The Gunslinger, and we fucking went with The Gunslinger. And Matthew McConaughey could have still played Randall Flagg.
We start with
Super
category
annoying.
1. Famous actors.
do, please,
and
yes, watch
actresses
Willow.
who'd like to
Willow, yeah. But that was on Twitter
Come
recently.
out.
Who has not seen
Alright.
Willow? Crazy.
Johnny Depp made his acting debut in which Wes Craven horror classic?
Come on.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Why aren't they conferring with each other? That's weird.
It's they gotta work on it. You know? Oh well, they can't on that one. The 2-pointer.
Oh, that's the
Yeah.
2-pointer, sorry.
But even during the multiple choice, they weren't really conferring that much.
Huh.
What 2012 martial arts action film was made in Indonesia? It's directed by Gareth Evans.
I've never had the situation yet where I've been
The Raid.
Yes, that is correct.
where we're conferring with the partner has hurt the situation.
Well as they possibly can.
It made you second guess yourself.
Yeah, I've never had to second guess myself, but
It goes
the
back to
2
final
times
exam.
with Tom that I wanted to
If they
second
miss,
guess him
final exam
were
still
both
wins
times
via
that he turned out to be
TKO.
wrong.
5-point question. That's the category.
Spy.
So, like, I don't know.
Movies.
Maybe I would do, yeah, I don't know.
Which 2000s spy film has the following actors in its cast? Christopher Plummer, Mark Strong, Amanda Peet, William Hurt, and Chris.
LOL. Do you know what I said the answer was for this one? You guys guess? It had William Hurt in it and it was a spy movie. Because I've learned nothing.
And 5, 4.
Repeat the question, please.
Second one. Which 2000 spy film has the following actors
Primer's
in
Electric
its
Dream are
cast?
pretty fantastic.
Christopher
Ironically,
Plummer,
episode
Mark
2.
Strong,
Oh,
Amanda Peet,
Electric Dreams of Sheep. Oh, the Phil K. Dick one.
2000.
I keep getting it confused for the Altered Carbon show, even though I know they're very different. It's episodic, right?
And your winner!
Okay.
By way of technical knockout! Prime time!
I thought the answer was Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. Because they said spy movies, 90s, and William Hurt, and having remembered last night what happened, I said, what is secret? Syriana.
Shannon, I'm live.
Garth, that's one stereotype about like female sleepovers that is 100% true. We all played Lives of Feather Stick as a board, just as we wanted to touch each other as children, so we all just, you know. Actually, I've only played it once as a kid because I never had enough friends to make
to make you float. to make you Liza Feathers.
I never had enough friends to make me float down here.
It was definitely
We don't float down here.
We don't float down here. Hashtag
against Paul Oyama and Lon Harris.
Penny Wozels.
Dewberry scored 5 or 6 points in the first round.
He did well.
They had 2 perfect rounds. Lon Harris has proven once again.
I'm impressed. I think Mark did better than Dewberry in this one.
Yeah, he did.
He
did, didn't he?
The best partner. I think that Winston drafted very, very well here. And
I didn't see Paul and Lon talking to each other that much either.
They did a little bit. I think they were both like pretty confident on what each answer was when they got
I
it.
just mean as like an interdynamic. Paul does not seem to be recognizing like that he's with Harris. Like he just exists.
He definitely, Lon definitely cracks him up. Like,
Lon definitely cracks him
you
up.
can see Paul laughing throughout the match a couple times.
So I want them to be like become like tighter though, and I want their relationship to develop.
Yeah.
Like just Paul's very young.
I try to tell y'all.
It'd be funny if Lon like just like keeps trying to be like hip and cool, like oh yeah. Or like turns out that's Oyama's big brother. What if that turns out to be Oyama's dad?
Lon?
Yeah, what if this is a guy in Roka situation? Reference that thing that I didn't know that happened.
We gonna make LeBron James pretty much anybody, okay? You know what I'm saying? We out here winning.
Winston's thing is so funny. Is it just me or is this thing changed from thing to thing?
He just does whatever. He just does whatever he feels like.
Paul, I have to tell you, I was watching you play out there today. Calm down. I was watching you play out there today, and honestly, you look like a different person. You look re-energized. You look, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the fact
I think I told her to say that because I kind of honestly can't tell that Paul's supposed to be different. This is like the Kalinowski going face thing for me, or Guy going or Bateman going face. I'm like, you took off your glasses so you're not an asshole. Like I can't read that.
That was the weed.
I'm not going to incriminate anybody on this telecast.
Oh, Garth.
It felt good to be out there, and I think we played.
Uh,
I'm excited for whatever.
Yeah, emotes. Hold on.
Blonde delinquent. I'm not sure what to call you now.
There's no emotes. What are emotes?
Oh, like little emo things that go on Twitch.
This is aggressive.
Little emotes.
But it was
Okay, how do I do that?
Yeah, like that. Yeah, like just like that.
Wait, I have GIFs of myself. Do this kind of emote?
Yeah, maybe we could make them into that.
Let's make us into GIFs. Oh, and by the way, guys, I still haven't forgotten that what I was supposed to do because I totally did forget it.
Like these. Honestly.
Oh my God, they're like macros.
This is a very
guys. What should one of mine be? And
like
how do you make them?
I don't know what. It's a very.
Well. Okay, one of mine's
later, not during this.
No, I'm not gonna do it. No, I'm doing the Patreon thing right now. So I forgot about it.
Really made a lot of sense. You had Lon, who was super. They were both
because Don made a good point, which is, or he didn't, but I thought of the thing. I'm never. Don is my new soul. Like I'm never gonna give you credit for being anything except that you're gonna give me all my ideas.
Yeah, drip, baby, let's go.
I think Lon's gaps were there.
$3 away, you guys. We're almost there. So subscribe to my Patreon. We get like 3 new shows in the next 2 weeks. Are we so excited about that?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have the mental breakdown at your house.
Yeah,
Slow and steady.
celebrate with
Slow
some,
and steady
we'll
is how my
celebrate
mental
with some
breakdowns
chips, guys.
go.
Congratulations on your victory
see,
today. And congratulations on the
big
swag.
ones.
How do you do that again?
Hey.
I'll hurt myself if I try that.
So I think one of mine should be a tooth.
Back to you guys.
Did someone design emotes?
Obviously, swag.
Design?
Is
Yeah.
Like, who makes
good,
them?
Mark. I mean, they've got. I think Winston is exactly right. Winston is exactly right. He put together a super team because you've seen super teams in the past, whether it was Clark Wolf and Rachel Cushing, whether it was Dan Merle and John Roca, or the Patriots themselves, Little Evil and Snyder. You got another one here. You got another one with Paul Oyama and
I got
Lon
it.
Harris,
Okay.
and they're going to be a team to beat.
They're a great team individually, collectively. They showed
So now, guys, it's special announcement time. Anyone who's going to be on $1 tier gets gets into the Discord. I don't know why I didn't let them do that
Yeah, well, that's the
before.
question too. It's like, what they both do is they bring a lot of clout to their matches because Lon Harris has been in the tournament finals before. Paul Oyama has been the singles champion. So they can really rise up the ranks and shake anyone in their boots, obviously.
But what I would say about the experiment, I would not label this as a failed experiment. It's a loss, but they did put up a lot of points. Hoyk and Dewberry, they know their stuff, and we're about to hear how they feel about the match right now with Corruption, Shannon Barney, Mark Hoyk.
Okay, so you should be able to go into the Discord now if you sign up for my Patreon.
You guys got the L today.
If you can't, it includes Discord benefits. Yeah, it says it includes Discord benefits. You should be able to now.
Especially how to play with.
If not, I will hit you up with the link.
Absolutely. It's an experiment, and we threw these guys together to see what they can do. And
Done.
25
Decent.
bucks, if you
What does that mean,
I'm
Darren?
certainly not upset
Decent?
about it. Are you guys
Independent.
shouldn't
Wait,
be
I don't
upset,
understand.
So John
The
Solo
measure of
says,
man
the Discord's not working for me. I'm at
is
$50.
when he can admit
Shit, man, hold on.
making bad decisions.
By the way, thank you, John. That's a very generous donation. Thank you for hitting that.
In the spy
see.
category, and
This includes
that I
Discord
gambled
benefits.
wrongly on the wheel.
Let me look
Just
into it.
as Mr. Dingleberry here.
I love that he doesn't like him.
Dewdrop, whatever. You
That's a
gave
weird
them
move.
the blank check on the wheel
Oh,
with which to
weird.
decimate us.
No, it's supposed to plug
And
in.
It wasn't plugged
blew
in.
what could
I
have
think I
been
just realized what it was. Try it
first
now,
round
Don. If not, I'm gonna
purpose.
message you just like the link to it. You're like on Discord, I'm assuming.
You guys were on the same team. You did amazing, sweetie. You were great. Very proud of you.
Poor Dewberry.
Just a little.
What's Don?
It's all about
Don's Del
owning your
Taco.
mistakes and learning from them.
You look like you're being held at gunpoint.
There's no guns. But that's the vibe, yeah.
Shannon, how do we regroup from this? How do we move forward? I mean, are we going to keep them together, or are we going to try to, it is an experiment. Are we going to just keep kind of moving the pieces together until we find ones that click?
Are you guys not having fun watching this? I mean, come on. Seriously, why would I break this up? Are you insane?
Yeah, he's
And by
taking
the
off.
way,
Good
while all
night.
these
Good night.
teams are out here prematurely
Good night, man.
all over the show, Corruption is biding their time. It's a
Don, I
long
think I just
season,
friended
we've got
you.
plenty of it, so I'm not worried.
Well,
Yeah, I
parents
did
just had to
something.
explain a lot to their kids.
Because evil is patient.
Back to you guys.
Smart move, Jen.
Lon Harris is giggling somewhere after that last comment.
Yeah. So Dewberry is terrified, and I know that Dewberry is searching.
Okay, Don, I
and
just
know
messaged
people
it to you.
are wondering, where is Makuga? Where is Makuga?
On
Makuga was
Discord
not able to
because
be
of our
here.
other Discord chat that we've already had.
He is, and he thought
He's
maybe
at
he'd be here,
Adelia.
to get Dewberry in spirits, but he's not here. He wasn't able to be here, and Dewberry
Is
I gotta be honest,
Dewberry
he looks lost.
on
He looks
Twitter?
lost without
Yeah.
Makuga.
He
At
looks like
Elliot
a
ETC.
frightened child
At Ryan's
under the
questions.
spell of two very
There's
evil
Ryan.
parents.
Yeah, well, where's that? Remember the Dewberry that we used to see? He would come out, he'd be yelling and screaming and confident.
He's high-fiving. He's
Cool.
drinking beers.
Who made
He's having
them?
a good time.
That's all I care about is who made them.
Like
Ask Ben who made
he
his.
looked
No,
like
thank
Kevin
you.
Bacon in Footloose
No,
when they
thank
said
you.
can't dance here, son.
Oh,
Where's Ryan?
to the-
Question, when
he's
did you-
gonna be
okay.
dancing in a
When you
barn
plus for
by himself
yeah,
later
plus.
on today.
But
He
Huh?
he
Why
lost
is the
his
feather
game of
supposed to work?
tractor
Yeah, right. I
Did-
answered that one.
Did it work?
Will he still
Did it work? In close repairs. Yeah, it was exactly like the craft. How'd you know? My childhood was basically just the craft.
Except with less friends, like you said.
And all these new
Yeah,
teams
except
that
with
are
less.
coming in, we're
I was
looking
doing the
for
craft,
some
but with like
just
2
explosive
friends,
matches down the line,
and one of
because
them was
who knows
imaginary.
who they could play next. They could play the Pride. They could play Deep 13. They could
Um,
play one of these.
I think we,
teams that are
unless
out there, and
did we
it's
miss
gonna
another
be
of Ryan's
short
questions?
for some of these teams to get
Do
to
we?
the
Ryan,
championship.
re-ask the
No,
question if
it's
there if we
really
missed something of
exciting.
his. Might have been up there.
We're up,
Yeah,
yeah,
I like
looking at
no.
that scoreboard, final exam. If they were
Yeah,
pressed,
we
if
got
they
it.
got all of their round 3 questions right, would have dropped 40 points.
Yeah, I mean
here
that's
today.
it's
So
interesting.
very big win for final exam. The experiment, the results yet to be seen. If when that's a hypothesis.
Mwah.
Christian Harloff, I'm
Don,
Mark
thank you.
Ellis, and you
So wait,
can
are we
check out
gonna do?
Movie
Is it
Trivia
time to do
Schmoedown
our?
live? The Schmoedownlive.com is website. Get your tickets. Check out all the rankings. Got a lot of good stuff. All sorts of goodies for you.
Guys, it is time. It is time. We're gonna be playing our own version of the Schmoedown, aka what are we calling it? Movie title deep cuts.
Movie title deep cuts name pending.
Movie titles have modern lines.
This game has modern lines.
This game has modern lines, aka deep cut movie trivia, aka like inner geekdom, but for just one movie at a time. And tonight's inner geekdom for one movie at a time, which is a title I'm 100% going with.
Yeah. So before we start doing this, like
yeah.
Professionally, we need to like stock up on like a bunch that we need to write, and then like just have those ready.
No, this is what we're gonna do. Is every day now during the self quarantine, we're gonna switch off, and each day one of us is gonna write a movie quiz, and we're gonna have so much content built up by the time this is over.
Movie trivia drew down.
Movie trivia Schmoedown.
I like someone called the VideoChronic quiz.
The VideoChronic quiz. Wait, that's actually great. The VideoChronic quiz. The VideoChronic movie quiz. I like that. I like the word VideoChronic more than I like the term Schmoedown. I'm just gonna be honest. VideoChronic. The VideoChronics. So yeah. So now VideoChronic. Yo, that sounds like a dank ass kind of weed. VideoChronic. I would smoke that. Ryan Kramer. Let's see because Eric, you can be kind of good about the multiple choice. Yeah. So I feel like let's see.
Troy, more dog chronic.
More dog chronic.
Luckily he took off. He got fed up and finally left.
The thing is about La La Land is I saw it once in theaters, wrote a hate piece about it, and then never bothered with it again. Mm-hmm. So it's gonna be a really interesting. This quiz is gonna suck for me. Yeah. I'm just gonna admit it. You didn't write this one for me. You wrote this for like all the La La Land.
I wrote for La La Land fans, yeah.
For La La Land fans.
So good luck.
Why no one ever rates me like a Michelle Gondry, like fucking what's his name, Spike Jones? No one ever does like a Being John Malkovich quiz. No, La La Land.
I can try doing one of those.
I'll do a Lynch one for you.
Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah. Let's see.
Weren't you telling me that's like impossible to do a Lynch one?
It's impossible to do contextual Lynch questions. Yeah. You can't be like who did what to whom. Like it would never. It'd be like who wore the red lipstick to the party with the man in the corner sitting silently. Which little rascal killed his wife and was also in Lost Highway playing a scary guy talking to a dude who killed his wife? The answer is Robert Blake. Scariest movie in movie history.
All right, so the other night I was just thinking like La La Land's like an easy quiz to make because like there's a bunch of like really definable things in it. It's not just like a drama, but like really straight cut things. There's like good terminologies and like phrases and characters in it that you can like kind of pick apart and make questions out of.
It's almost like Los Angeles as a character.
Yeah. And so we're gonna do La La Land because that was an easy quiz to write pretty well.
And I'm going to hate this because lots of Ryan Gosling movies don't appeal to me. Mm-hmm. In fact, anything that's not a comedy doesn't appeal to me. So the Notebook do not like. And I thought him and Emma Stone had such great chemistry in Crazy Stupid Love. I was so excited to watch them in a musical together. This movie sucked a D.
Frank Wonder asks, "Hi, random question. Which one of you is most likely to end up in prison someday?"
Great question. I would just say, in terms of like, if the world was fair, me, because we live in Trump's America, Eric.
It's true.
Let's just be real here. Which one of us has done more illegal things? Well, it depends on how you define law. Is it a horror or a thriller?
Is it a heel move?
Is the law a heel move? Okay, so let's start. Did you see the Daniel Craig SNL? Yes, I did. That was funny. If you haven't seen this,
the movie, I didn't see it.
Oh my God, there's a whole SNL sketch that was basically that was basically if you spun movie quotes on Schmoedown, but like we're just stupid good at them.
There is another SNL skit I'll show you at some point. That's really funny, but it reminds me of the Schmoedown so much.
They would never catch VideoDrew. I mean, some have tried, but they have not liked what they have caught. They've had to have it cured by doctors. Gosling is really nice guys. Not my. I didn't like Nice Guys at all, though. But oh my god, let's start the quiz.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Nice Guys is a whole different conversation.
That's a whole different.
It really is.
Shane Black.
Shane Hack.
Shane. But I love Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, the better version.
All right, so we're gonna do a La La Land quiz. 20 questions from the film La La Land, and you can check multiple choice if you want.
Okay.
Okay, so here we go. How many songs do Mia and Sebastian sing together in the film?
Let's do 1.
1?
Yeah.
It was 2.
That was my first guess. What's the second one besides?
They sing the What Lovely Night and City of Stars.
Oh, I thought he just sang City of Stars.
They sang the reprisal together.
Oh, it's a reprise? Oh, fuck that. Okay. This movie sucks.
Good job, Darren.
Oh.
Sebastian invites Mia to see what classic film for their unofficial first date?
Oh, that's A Rebel Without a Cause.
Yes. Fun fact, Snyder missed that in a question.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the movie sucked, so I get it. The movie sucked a lot. Who wants to think about La La Land? Fuck me.
Yeah, Frank Conner. Yeah, La La Land. Easy quiz to make. Drew's nightmare.
If you did a Crazy Stupid Love one, the better Gosling Emma Stone movie where they have much more chemistry and they reenact that scene from Dirty Dancing. I don't understand. This movie is so unsexy.
I can do that.
Okay. Yeah, Crazy Stupid Love is a great movie. Great, fun written movie. Really well written.
The film opens during what season of the year?
Oh, it's like summer in Los Angeles or something. Or no, it's just pretending to be summer in Los Angeles. Let's go summer.
It was winter.
Right, because that's my other guess. Yeah. Do you like Schmoedown Almost There with Drew Grant?
Almost there.
Oh, that was my other guess. I wanted to say 2. I said 1. Do I get a half point, sir?
Louis says flu season.
Is that something that happened? Challenge. Wait, okay, Louis' challenge.
Flu season.
Stupid.
Sebastian has a prize stool in his apartment that he says was used by what famous jazz musician?
God, it's probably gonna be like Louis Armstrong. Is that right? No.
No.
Okay.
No.
Is the answer no?
The answer is no. That's not right.
Is it Cal? Oh, it's what's his name? Cal. Whatever. Multiple choice. I get a mulligan on that.
I'll be.
Yeah, be generous. Be easy on
Is
me.
it A. Charlie Parker, B. Sidney Bechet, C. Hoagie Carmichael, D. Dizzy Gillespie?
This is so dumb. This is like that part of that Craig Robertson or that Craig. Sorry, what's his name? The guy sketch like I think you should leave or whatever. Where it's like Tim from Tim and Eric is playing his version of this movie trivia quiz, but like everyone else is playing regular movie trivia, and he just only wants to ask about obscure jazz musicians and songs. And like he's like, "Come on, Toots McGee, everyone knows him." Is it Dizzy Gillespie?
It was Hoagie Carmichael.
Like who knows about a Hoagie Carmichael? God, what is this movie? It sucks. Who wants to talk about old jazz?
Ryan Gosling.
No,
all the time.
I can promise someone.
Actually, the real answer is Damien Chazelle.
Damien Chazelle and anyone who like went to Oberlin with me.
Yeah. Mia says her passion for film was inspired by whom from her family?
Her aunt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Her aunt.
Yeah.
Correct.
Well, she says it.
Yeah.
That's something she says. So it's easier for me to remember.
It's not jazz. It's not jazz related.
Well, I mean, it's contextual about her life.
Yeah.
As opposed to just riffing, just straight riffing.
Like jazz.
I know. Well, I said it on purpose.
The big movie role Mia auditions for near the end of the film is scheduled to shoot in what European city?
Paris.
Yes.
Because if you don't live in Hollywood, then you probably want to be living in Paris. So it's like every girl who came here.
What is the name of the former jazz club Sebastian is upset about being turned into a samba and tapas restaurant?
Multiple choice.
Is it A. Dorsia, B. Van Beek, C. The Bronze, D. Chubby's?
Dorsey is the one from American Psycho, so good call on that. Is it Van Beek?
Yes.
Okay, I remember there was something about beak in the title. I thought there was something about chicken, or does he open a chicken shop? I forget.
That's a good connection, beak and chicken.
Doesn't he open like a fried chicken and jazz shop? Or
He just wants to open a jazz club.
But isn't it called something chicken? Am I crazy?
Thanks, Taryn. Hot take.
Was it?
Paris is dirty and the people are rude.
So is LA.
Yeah. Mia works across the street from a shooting spot used in what famous classic film?
Oh, multiple choice, but I think I remember this. It's like a cityscape.
Is it A, Breakfast at Tiffany's, B, Singing in the Rain, C, The Apartment, D, Casablanca?
Not Casablanca. Probably not Singing in the Rain. What was the first one? Breakfast at Tiffany's. That sounds right, but it looked. I think Breakfast at Tiffany's was shot in New. No, Drew, come on. You were at that stage a lot. Is that a real place? Breakfast at Tiffany's.
It was Casablanca.
Damn it! How is it Casablanca? That doesn't even take place in Los Angeles. Neither does Breakfast at Tiffany's. Neither does Singing in the Rain. Oh my god! Actually, no, Singing in the Rain does.
Who plays Keith, Sebastian's former classmate and frontman of the band he joins?
Are you kidding me? It's Pharrell.
It's John Legend.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Get me the fuck out of this quiz! Eject! Eject! Dude! Oh no! I hate this quiz. Okay, keep going.
You know what's so funny?
You said it. I said this earlier, and you didn't correct me.
Pharrell was not in my multiple choice options, but I was thinking of putting him on there. But I thought to myself, no one's gonna guess Pharrell.
Didn't you hear me earlier today when I was making fun of this movie and kept talking about Pharrell? Do you think I was just being really mean to John Legend?
Maybe.
Wait, that was John Legend? Why do I remember it as Pharrell? Oh my god. There's a picture of me and Pharrell that's on Facebook somewhere, just in case anyone thought I was being racist. No, I just hate this film.
Mia and Sebastian have a dance number at what famous Los Angeles location?
Griffith Observatory, that I remember.
Yes.
As opposed to Pharrell. I'm so sorry to the legacies of both John Legend and Pharrell.
Who says John Legend makes boring music?
Next time there's gonna be a La La Land slice in the wheel. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if any players are watching this or if they're gonna be doing that. Romance is apparently not my strong suit.
What is the name of Mia's one-woman show?
Oh my god! Again, like just everything about this smacks of like I hate it just in concept alone. What's the name of her one-woman show? What jazz musician does this white dude reference? Shit, man. Let's some multiple choice. Let's make something dumb.
Is it A, One More Thing, B, So Long, Boulder City, C, Through the Window, D, Los Angeles Memories?
Through the Window sounds right, but I know that's actually a song from Dear Evan Hansen. So unless there's some weird mind meld going on there, it's going to be whatever Los Angeles Cities.
So D.
Yeah, Los Angeles Cities.
It was So Long, Boulder City.
Wow, that is so dumb. At least make it a love letter to LA instead of a fuck you to Boulder City. Especially because didn't she just leave Boulder? Doesn't directly after she had this show, she goes back to Boulder.
Back home, yeah.
She goes back to Boulder City.
Yeah.
So the irony of saying So Long, Boulder City, and just immediately returning to it. Okay.
Garth asks, would La La Land be in romance, musicals, dance movies, or all of them?
Wouldn't be in dance movies because they're not dancers.
Yeah, like dancing isn't like what you're saying.
Oh my god, I'm not going to deal with this troll question anymore. Someone asked me.
There's a tiered logic of like what constitutes like musical and dance and so on.
No, it's very easy. Yeah. Dance movies don't have to be musicals. Dance movies or any movies in which dance is featured heavily in the plot, kind of like how
like in the plot,
spy movies are movies about spies.
Yeah, but like in the plot, you mean in the plot in the sense where like the characters are aware that dancing is a thing that they are doing.
Yes, it's not something that happens in the movie. It's the plot of the movie involves dance.
Yeah.
So just like spy movies wouldn't be about, where some Russian spy gets to be an actor in this movie about something.
Yeah. So
it's not real world.
So would Bring It On be a dance movie?
What?
Bring It On.
Bring It On is a dance movie.
Yeah,
it's cheerleading. It's a dance movie. Mm-hmm. I would say, is I, Tonya a dance movie is an interesting question.
Yeah. So, Garth says dance has to have a dance integral to the plot. West Side Story is not a dance movie.
Yes.
It's a musical.
Yes. Right. Yep. Although it does have a scene that takes place in a dance place, the question about whether like it is integral to the plot and whether the characters know they are dancing. It's like what we talked about earlier. Like this quiz was easier because, although this is weird, you don't know if they know they're singing.
I don't think they know they're singing. Like I
think it's like it's called Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. I think it's an internal monologue.
Yeah.
It's his like stupid internal monologue.
Yeah, pretty much. When Sebastian is retrieving Mia's car keys from the valet, what does Mia say is attached to the key to help him spot it?
This movie. Give me the choices, but I'm gonna be so angry about it.
Is it A, a green ribbon, B, a gold whistle, C, a red scrunchie, D, a blue tassel?
Oh my god. This is like if someone gets murdered outside your house and the police are questioning you on the details. I don't know. Those are all circles and shapes, man. I'm very traumatized by having seen this movie, and I don't want to remember any of the finer points. Let's do the tassel. No, it's not the tassel, Drew. Was it the red circle?
The red circle?
Is it the red circle?
It was a green ribbon.
God damn it. Why? Does she have some stupid fucking reason why she has a green ribbon around her keys, or is this just some cute manic pixie dream girl bullshit?
Probably the latter. Well, the joke in that scene is that because he says, which key is it? It's the Prius, and then like all the keys are Priuses.
Oh,
and then she says it's the one with the green ribbon.
That's not a joke.
Yeah, well, the first part of the joke, not the, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So she's environmentally conscious and can afford a Prius, which is an inconsistency.
Yeah, then her car gets towed in the film, but they never like address like her getting it back. Really, I guess it just
I don't think she gets it back. She goes to Boulder City. She goes back on to Boulder City. He has to go get her in his car. I remember that.
Yeah.
That would have been really obnoxious if he was like, "I'm here to get you," and she's like, "Okay, but like I just drove to Boulder City, so we're actually gonna have two separate cars."
Yeah,
so.
that's true. No, she leaves her car in Boulder City. That's true.
No, I think she leaves it when it gets towed.
No, she has it back later.
Oh, she gets it back.
What song does Mia request Sebastian's cover band play at the pool party?
This is the one thing I was thinking about all day. Give me the multiple choice options because it's a really funny song. She does a really good face where she's like,
yeah. And
it's like the one part where you actually feel them have fun together, where
Yeah.
she's just like getting really annoyed. Yeah. It's something I would totally do as a movie.
That's like the most Emma Stone thing that she does in the movie.
Yeah, Emma Stone's kind of a goofball. I feel like I don't like her as a whimsical, like nothing ingenue. She was just an ingenue. It was boring.
Is it A, Don't Stop Believing, B, Take on Me, C, Tainted Love, D, I Ran?
What's the last one?
I Ran.
I think it's I Ran because I don't remember it being any of the bigger ones, the ones that I actually like. Was it not? Like,
it was I Ran, yes.
It was I Ran,
Yeah,
okay. Because I remember being like, I don't know this song. Which is a fun feeling. Oh, hey, I just got friended by Warfather.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, no big deal. When you're in the Schmoedown, you just go random Facebook request from Warfather.
Yeah, from your former faction mates.
Oh, yeah. No. Yeah, was he in my faction?
Yeah.
Oh, I like him.
Dungeon. Or the Drukes.
Oh, shit. Jeff is pulled out of the free-for-all.
I guess that makes sense.
Dude, did Jeff give me coronavirus?
No. No, if that was the case, like you already would have been. In,
I
like,
was
good
already
position.
sick.
Yeah, but you're not as sick as you were then, or he is now.
But I definitely got sick after we hung out. He had just gotten back from con and he was dying.
Yeah.
I kept making jokes to him, being like, "I think you have that virus."
Yeah, before it was like, yeah, now.
No, but it was like the thing where it was like a month in. It was
Yeah.
like over a month ago. Oh my god, that's scary. I hope he feels better, Jeff. I hope you're okay.
Mm-hmm.
Text me back. What's going on, man?
Darren, Jeff has been sick. He's getting better from what I last heard from his, releases online. But I think to be safe, it's probably best that he just pull out of the free for all, just to be safe to himself and to everyone around him.
That's so fucking scary.
All right, back to law.
Back to the stupid movie that existed before there was a national pandemic.
What is the name of the band Sebastian joined to earn a steady living?
What is it?
What is it? You should say that in the Schmoedown. What is it?
What is I do that far too often in my actual game where I just play at home where I just go, just fucking tell me.
Do you want full choice?
Sure.
Is it A, the Messengers, B, the Makers, C, the Wanderers, D, the Walkers?
Well, it's not the Wanderers because that's the one from that thing you do, the Oneaters. And everybody who ever writes a question about a band always puts them in there. Let's do the Makers.
It's the Messengers.
No, you wrote that multiple choice tricky because usually when you're doing alliteration, people put the second answer as the correct one because they want to trip you up. I've noticed that. That's how my mind works.
Who plays Bill, the owner of the restaurant that fires Sebastian for his improvised jazz playing?
J.K. Simmons.
What's that?
J.K. Simmons.
Yes, J.K. Simmons.
That's what I said. What did you think I said?
J.K. Rowling.
No, I get some things correct. Somebody once got an interview. Isn't an interview to question mark who said who wrote the crimes or who wrote the screenplay or something, and they didn't get it. Or am I crazy?
I don't think so.
Or like one of the Fantastic Beasts, like who wrote it, and the answer is J.K. Rowling, but someone didn't get it. I feel like.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know.
Hit me up if you remember that happening, internet.
Get me photos of Spider-Man. Yeah, that's true. Stop playing jazz. Get me photos of Spider-Man.
Bruno's pregnant.
How many years passed between Mia landing her big role and her running into Sebastian at his club?
Multiple choice.
Is it A, 2 years, B, 3 years, C, 5 years, D, 7 years?
It's either 5 or 7. I don't think their kid is old enough to be, or young enough to be it being 3 years, because their kid is like exists and isn't like that much of a baby. I'm gonna go with, I want to say 7, but it's probably 5.
So which one?
Yeah, I'm gonna say 5.
It was 5. Yes.
Yeah.
5 years.
Yeah. Her new husband was ugly. It was like really
where's
weird.
He from? He looks familiar. I'm not sure where he's from though.
I did not like him. He was such a dweebus.
It's funny that every girl that I watch the movie with says the same thing.
That he's particularly unattractive.
Yeah, he's like.
Well, especially compared to Ryan Gosling. How is she ever like not just turning over bed at night, just like scrolling through photos of him? She totally knew he was gonna be at that club. She's like, she fucking like just looks at his Facebook every single. Oh no, he doesn't have Facebook. Who am I kidding? His fucking pretentious ass.
Jazz page.
Yeah. He just goes on the Discord for jazz. He's in Twitch's just talking section, ranting about jazz the way I rant about a Saw film.
What does Sebastian want to name his jazz club before Mia suggests naming it Seb's?
It's like something with chicken. I swear to Christ. Read multiple choice.
Is it A, the well, B, chicken on a stick?
This chicken on a stick.
Yes.
Didn't even have to hear the rest.
I should have put a chicken something in there.
Oh, you should have, because you knew you knew that I got that far.
Yeah, I didn't want to do that. It's too
but you did Pharrell.
I didn't do Pharrell. You did Pharrell. You just said it.
But we both thought Pharrell. Let's be clear. We're both equally.
All right, okay, who directed the film?
Damien Chazelle. We've mentioned that.
Yeah, we did.
Chicken and beer. Chicken on a stick.
Chicken and beer.
He's on MySpace because they're better. Gar, that's really funny.
Yeah, that's great.
That's Dizzy Gillespie. Sorry, Dizzy Gillespie's on his top end. Sorry.
We love you, Dan. Oh God.
Yeah, that's really funny because Dizzy Gillespie's in his top 10.
While struggling to find acting work, Mia works a steady job as what?
Oh, she works as like a coffee. She's like a coffee slinger.
Yeah, a barista. Yeah.
You're not gonna give me coffee barista, coffee slinger.
Coffee slinger. It sounds derogatory.
Coffee slinger just sounds like an old 1940s.
Coffee slinger.
It's like just an old term for him. The old coffee slinger. It's like my Hudsucker proxy.
What instrument does Sebastian play in the band he joins?
Oh, he seems like a bassist. Is he a bassist?
He's a keyboard.
Oh, that's right. He's keyboard. Yeah. Hey, what do you call a bassist without a girlfriend?
What?
Homeless.
You really love that one.
I used to have a bassist boyfriend. I dated a bassist. What do I want to say?
All right.
Good night. Good night. Oh, that was a while ago.
You got 11 out of 20.
Well, that is terrible.
Yeah, Robert says, wow.
Wow.
Troy says, hey, I have an apartment. So you play bass, Troy?
Wait.
No offense.
What does it say?
Yeah, I have an apartment.
I have an apartment. Hey, Troy, no offense. So does my ex-boyfriend. And he played bass. And he's the one who taught me that joke. So,
blame him.
To be fair, blame Steve Barnes. Bassist and guitar hero. Check Chadwick Boseman. LOL. Who said Chadwick Boseman? Ben Bateman would say coffee slinger and then challenge and argue until he got the points. Has he done that shit before?
It was during Spectacular when they were arguing like the difference between like a sports agent and like a regular agent.
Is there a difference?
Yeah, there's like a whole fucking thing.
Was that during this?
Yeah, in December. Yeah.
Wait, what was it? Was it a Jerry Maguire question or what?
No, it was what men want. Like what is their job?
Oh, it wasn't the Oh, was it spectacular? The one that I was at.
Yeah, against Bibbs and Bateman.
He argued because he's a regular agent.
He
because he's on the Gillette.
For what men want.
From
with Taraji P. Henson.
Sorry, you said What Women Want, which is the one.
No.
Oh, I thought you said What Women Want, which is the one with Mel Gibson, where
Yeah.
he's working on the Gillette campaign. So both answers are wrong
Yeah.
because he's an advertising.
Dead wrong.
What Men Want?
Yeah.
What's it about?
It's like the same premise, but with a woman.
What?
Yeah, you never heard about that?
When did this come out?
Last year.
What?
With Taraji P. Henson.
Can we please watch that?
I guess.
I mean, that's so much funnier because the answer is just 90 minutes of porn.
Well, Dave Chappelle did a skit about it, like back in the day. He's like just a bunch of like guys just like having like really awful thoughts about her.
Wait, so that's really funny. What's it called? What Men Want?
Yeah.
Okay. Ben was wrong, but argued. So was the answer regular agent, and then he argued sports?
Yeah, he said a sports agent, or he said she was an agent for athletes and their like career or something like that, and then he got it wrong, and they challenged him like, yeah, but she does this and this and this and this. He like filibustered his way through.
And he actually, and they got him right.
They gave him the point.
Talk about squeaky wheels. Yo, okay. I think that wraps it up for tonight. We're at 2 hours and 45, which is probably a good time for us to sign off and watch What Men Want. Definitely time to watch What Men Want. God, can we just talk for a second?
Big Head.
It has what?
Big Head from Silicon Valley.
It does have Josh Brenner. I feel like I was on a panel with him once, but I don't remember that. Can we just look at Erykah Badu's hat? Guys, go to IMDb and Google Erykah Badu because it's silly. Okay, guys, this has been the Video Nerd Chronicles, and yeah, come back tomorrow. We'll have another quiz. I guess I'm not doing shit this weekend. All the whatever.
Yeah. If you guys want to suggest movies,
yeah. What are we gonna do? Tell them to go to Patreons.
Yeah, go to Patreon.com/something.
.com.
We gotta structure this more.
We gotta structure this more, but you can go to either my Patreon, which is /VideoDrew, or NerdChronic Patreon.
Start thinking of movies. Start thinking of movies you think will be good quizzes.
Yeah, but we still need one for tomorrow.
We'll set it up for you so you guys can suggest it to us.
Yes, and then we're also gonna set up in a poll because I know how to do this. That I have figured out.
I'll do Remember the Titans one.
Oh no! Please, I've never seen that movie.
Yeah, I'll do that one.
Can you tell?
Well, there's a yes.
Could you tell? I've never seen Remember the Titans. It is for NerdChronic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, hey, y'all, and thanks for showing up tonight. And pretty soon, thank you guys all for all your donations and stuff. We're really almost very close to my Patreon goal with the new show, and I'm now a Twitch affiliate, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
And my hair is looking crazy, and we're gonna be self quarantining for a while. Does it count as self quarantine if they're kind of making us do it? Like if the government is kind of like just stay home.
Yeah.
Like at what point does it just become regular quarantine because they're forcing us, like the people of New Rochelle? And on that note, hit us up. We'll be watching movies. Okay, night guys. Smash those buttons.